Yo, what is up, everyone? Welcome to the Baffling Black Spirit podcast. We're a little short on hosts today, but we got a crap ton of topics to cover. So yeah, we got our two other hosts. Oh boy, we had another one, but he seems to have lagged out for now. We got Panda and Zoostra. What's up, guys?
Hey, how you doing, everybody? Welcome. Hope everybody had a nice Christmas.
What's up, guys? I'm the star, just saying.
All right, so stream's been out for a little bit. We had Christmas. We had yeah, it's just the podcast landed on the wrong days. So yeah, we've got a lot to cover. So while we were gone, the Camisil, what's up, Jolly? The Camisil territory has come out in KR. Now I have some footage here of just some elves singing in the territory, and yeah, so Panda, have anything? This is really weird with so many little hosts, but Panda, you got anything to say about the Camisil? Any questions? Anything? Also,
Yeah,
for anyone in chat, if you have
I actually
questions.
have a lot of questions about the new zone and what they plan to do with it just going forward. Because I know they're supposed to release what two or another zone also after they finish with Camisil.
There's three parts to the Camisil territory. So
Right.
those two are going to be coming out, and then there's going to be another territory. I believe it starts with a Z. It's there's not much information on it, so I can't say too much. But it it's like BDO's coming out with a lot of content. It seems like the game's going to stay alive for a pretty long time.
That's definitely good. And do we know for a fact that the new zone Camisil is it going to get its own? Is it going to be its own territory or is it going to be part of the Calpheon territory?
Right now on KR, I believe it's part of the Calpheon territory. But soon it's gonna be get hello its own zone. So yeah, when the part two or part three comes out, it's gonna be getting its own zone.
So I'm not really one for spoilers. I kind of like to learn about the game as I play it. But I heard that supposedly there are people um, in KR that are getting like one-shotted by the mobs over there.
Oh boy, yeah, I have a clip here. I can. Oh no, I didn't save that one. But the mobs
Really?
are extremely strong. I saw a 61 berserker get absolutely shreked, one shot by this one mob. It was hilarious.
That's crazy. So I wonder, like, what's the level range going to be over there? If
Uh,
these things are, I mean, what is that, like a above ground Akhman dungeon?
Pearl Abyss says level 58 and higher, but I say level 61 and higher for most of the mobs. Some of the mobs, yeah, you can go and you can grind them. Hold on, let me grab a clip really quick. We have some combat
That's
footage.
crazy.
Yeah, but the mobs are crazy strong, and it's it's unbelievable because they didn't increase the level cap. They didn't bring out any ways to increase your APDP. So it's kind of like you get what you get, and you have to go
Oh
and you have
wow.
to kill those mobs. These ones I'm showing on the stream right now, they're pretty easy mobs, but there are some extremely difficult mobs out in open fields and some other areas. Like there's a temple, and those
Right.
mobs are just crazy strong.
Yeah, because I was gonna ask, it was gonna be like, was there any new accessories or weapons or anything that came out to kind of compensate for that, or is it just boom,
As of now,
what we got
no.
now is okay? Wow.
Yeah, it's just you get what you get, and you have to go out there with the gear you have. Um, so let's see here. Jolly
Probably being
Pixie
in
says
parties.
I heard like even level 58 to 60s get one shot there. Yeah, by some mobs they do, and it's crazy. It's crazy to think that our strongest players are going to go to this new territory. They're going to find a mob they're going to want to kill, and they're just going to get one shot by it.
That's that's pretty crazy. I did hear because I was watching Gray over the weekend too, and one of his mods was saying that his guild they've been farming over by wolves or something like that, something of the sort of the birds, and every so often the griffin would come in and just every 30 minutes or whatever the case was, and just one shot somebody. He was saying in that sort of terms. I thought it was pretty funny, but I didn't realize the mobs were that strong there.
Wait, there are griffins now?
Yeah, there's a world boss griffin apparently, or
Oh my
elite
gosh.
mob. I don't know I don't know if it's actually a world boss or what. Or I think it's just an elite that spawns every
Yeah,
30 minutes or every hour.
yeah, it's an
And he,
elite. There's actually the mini like regular mob griffins, and there's the super strong ones. Um, and like I love them. I don't know if they drop anything rare or worthwhile because they are hard as hell to kill. I know the drops in Kama Silver are like 12k silver, 15k
Holy
silver.
shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, I heard also that the mob does have a chance to drop against a rare item
Yeah.
that sells for probably anywhere from 30k to 50k. I could be wrong, but I'm just giving that value range because I
Now
didn't exactly listen to the value range.
there was some KR players that were saying there was a rare helmet that came out, but I never
Uh huh.
seen one. I've never seen one linked, and I don't know what the stats are on it. I don't know if it actually exists either. But if there is new boss gear, people say it's going to be PVE oriented, meaning it's going to be less for PvP aimed players.
I guess that makes more sense because I think the game is at a point now, especially in Korea, where they need time to kind of balance out this AP/DP differential because it's getting pretty insane right now.
Especially with the release of Nouver in NA, and of course
Hmm.
KR.
Definitely.
AP saw a really big jump, and DP is staying the same.
Yeah, I think that's probably why in our version they waited so long to
Yeah,
kind of delay the Nouver being released because I don't think they're really sure how that's going to be handled yet. But I know like we already have players here in NA that have AP over 220, so Nouver is definitely going to just push that way
and
past the threshold.
I think this is a perfect short segue into the Nouver topic. Now, Nouver came out recently, as we all know. It was a big deal. We've been waiting so long for Dom to release it to us. We finally got it. It hasn't spawned yet in NA. I don't know about EU, but there are people already getting there are crap tons of people getting Nouver from the Night Vendor. It seems to be a pretty. It's not common, but it's common to
It's more common than it should be,
yeah,
it seems
seriously.
right now. Yeah, which
Nouver.
is odd. Yeah, I was expecting it to spawned at least once already, and it hasn't spawned at all. My own
Let's see.
guildmates are asking.
Window, I think it's like 2 hours. Or wait, I don't know. Someone check BDO NA for us. But
I think all the bosses are probably gonna start. They're all probably gonna spawn at the same time. Tree just spawned, so I think it's starting the windows are starting to open up, I guess, and then they're starting to close at the same time
yeah,
as these bosses spawn. So we're probably looking to see them anywhere from within the next 5 hours or so.
yeah. Of course we have BDO NA. I'll link.
Definitely. No, with the Novir topic, and I'm going to draw back to the Chemseal thing. With the huge discrepancy between AP and DP, it, it's starting to show a lot, especially with the new zone that they released. Because they said the new zone is supposed to be what, for 58 people that are 58 and above,
Yeah.
but we have 61 players that are really geared with high AP, and some of them moderately high DP, but they're still getting one shot by these mobs. And
There
I like the what's up?
there has to be something they're going to release soon to make it easier cuz unless there is something that's going to have some issues. We're going to have some issues because these mobs are literally going to be super freaking hard to kill.
What are we looking at here for this new area? Are we looking at trying to have like 300 plus DP?
Oh,
Because most people don't have that unless you have a DP offhand. But most people don't want to sacrifice out their AP for DP offhand,
I think
or a hybrid.
there's some full tet, full not full pen, but full tet semi pen players. I
Hmm.
think those mobs are perfect for them. But there's it that would mean that it would take so long for a new player that just joined the game to actually be able to visit the Camisole territory and grind.
Yeah,
True. And I did hear that the Chemisteel territory also offers better EXP too as well,
Yeah, of
especially
course.
in a party. So it does help promote party play as well in the game, which we all know has been a big problem since BDO era. Since BDO has dawned upon us, it's been a big problem with party grinding. People want to party grind, you get hindered at the same time unless you have a full party of 5 people that are efficiently pulling their own weight to compensate for the loss of not having the 100% EXP gain on your own.
N2 Alive says BJ God NA with Kudum 300 plus DP was still getting slapped up in Camisole territory. So
oof.
there's some geared players just getting absolutely destroyed now, and he's level 61. Wow. Okay. So there's no there's no chance I'm ever going there.
And
Um,
so it's tough to figure out what's gonna go on. And I know that since all the awakenings are out and so forth, I guess Prolibus kind of hinted somewhere that they're going to be working on class balances and DP changes, thus going forward. But how long before will we see that? Maybe next year towards the quarter four,
Yeah.
could be quarter three. We don't
Oof.
know.
Then
Yeah,
Fan Track says maybe party hunting will become a thing in Camisil. A tank
it's
to
gonna
take,
have to be.
yeah, a tank to take the monster
It
aggro and damage dealers to take down the monster. Could be like a thing.
yeah, it's gonna have to be because if people are getting out there and individually they can't do it, I think maybe this could be a low key way to perhaps push partying, because I mean with a party of well geared people you could probably do it relatively comfortably versus trying to just solo it all by yourself. I think when it comes to AP and DP balancing. I mean, this game has already been out for, almost 2 years in Korea, and the discrepancy between AP and DP still exists. If it was something that Pearl Abyss wanted to address, um, you know, rather quickly, they've had ample time to do so. I think now that we've gotten more into, I guess, the girth of the game, and all the awakenings are released, Dark Knight aside, um, I think now we'll probably start seeing more of those balances coming out or being released versus to certain aspects of the game not being released and then trying to. I mean, the way that they went about it was kind of, in my opinion, a little backwards, but it also kind of makes sense. Let everything fall out, be on the table, and then we can put the pieces together after the fact. So I kind of get their perspective
See,
there.
personally, I would have preferred, release new gear, better gear, more Camisil aimed gear, something that'll help me out there, and then release the territory so I can have all my gear enhanced, be ready to go, and destroy some hard ass mobs.
Speaking of new gear, there's been this talk, and I don't know how legit this is, but there's talk about the new boss gear that may possibly come out. Because when you guys look in your crystal, when you're putting your crystals and so forth, there's actually 3 slots in there for
Hmm.
crystals. So
Oh yeah.
I've been hearing a little bit of this talk about possibly new boss gear coming out that's supposed to replace the current boss gear that we have that may or may not have 3 slots.
I think eventually it's going to get to that point. I think it has to get to that point. With the way that the game is going, with the increase of level cap and the increase, damage output of the mobs and the difficulty, they're going to have to create at some point gear that can scale and keep up.
Three
Um,
three slots
Go
would
ahead.
be absolutely. It would be so powerful. That'd be like up to 300 extra HP.
Yeah.
It'd be so much
Extra
more
15 AP.
accuracy, 5 evasion. It and then there's the resistances on the Valencia crystals.
Hmm.
So that'll make those pieces of boss gear so much more important than let's say your trashy Hebe now. Your habitate is completely useless if that kind of gear comes out.
Yeah, I mean, but think about it. Like as the game expands, I'm sure they're gonna add. Well, clearly we already have Nouver, we already have Kudum. They're gonna continue to add more bosses to the game, and it would only make sense that there's boss gear accompanied by those new mobs. So I think that that's a fair prediction to make. That yeah, eventually it will span beyond that.
So, Thantrax says I'm all for harder monsters coming first because if you release the new gear first, people will just roll in, say with their new gear, be like
I
GG
agree.
easy. The new content sucks, and they'll go back to Sausins.
I agree 100%. Like, and
Yeah,
and that was what I was thinking, but we started on something else, so I didn't get to say it. But I 100% agree with that. This way, you go in not really knowing what's gonna work. Like, can I handle these mobs? You get your shit kicked in, and oh, okay, that was a surprise. I know I'm not ready for this by myself. Maybe I should get a group, or okay, how can I devise a plan to actually overcome these new mobs? So I agree with you. I don't mind a little shock factor in a game that I'm playing.
N2 Alive says where's the 3 slots coming from? It's just rumors. Like there's no definite sources yet, but I'm sure it'll come
Right.
out. It is there.
So like right now when you go to transfuse crystals into your gear, it actually has an option for 3 crystals. Not in your gear itself, but in the UI, there are up to 3 slots that can be, have crystals transfused into them.
Hmm.
So it has been rumored that eventually we will get gear um, that can actually utilize that 3 slot feature. Which honestly makes logical sense if it's in the game. I remember back in February, March, when this game was first released here in NA, there were lots of things in the game that existed, but you couldn't really do anything with them because they just hadn't been unlocked or released in our version of it. Now I know the 3 slot system isn't even released yet in KR, but because it's in the game, I agree with the fact that it might be something that will eventually come to the game itself.
It's just like
Yeah,
when we had sorry Panda, it's just like when we had Uno, Orwin, and Eden. Two people from, whether they're from Uno and Eden, couldn't have the same name, so that was pretty much
Right.
confirmation that server merge was coming. It's kind of like that. They implemented the feature, and it's probably really likely that 3 slots are going to be coming out soon. Not soon, sorry, in the future.
definitely, and especially with them releasing a new class, a new zone, not one new zone, but multiple new upcoming zones that we have for future content, and they're releasing it in small parts too as well. So it seems like they're dragging it out. And why would they release new bosses at the same time just to drop the same things that we are currently already have in game?
Yeah.
Y- it. They're trying to. I guess they're in a sense they're trying to throw us hints at the same time, but without telling us concrete information. Just speculation, keeping us waiting. It is basically like teasers in a sense.
Yeah, of course. And Cacao loves their teasers kind.
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
They're not very good at it, but they love them. All right, so do we want to head on to the next topic?
Oh yes, these new
Hey,
costumes that we got received.
hell yeah,
Oh,
we got them today. We got uh, new outfits. I know Zoostra, you vomited in your mouth just a second ago. Why?
did you say why?
Yeah, why? What's wrong with
Okay,
you?
so I main a witch, and I don't know anybody else out there who plays witch, but it seems like witch always gets like the short end of the stick when it comes to costumes. Sometimes we luck up and we get good stuff, but most times not. The new, I guess, snowflake outfit, it just looks like some retro 50s, 60s, 70s, I don't know what era wedding dress. The veil looks absolutely disgusting. The sleeves, that frilly fluffy crap. I mean, they could have it all they had to do was make that slim and sleek and that would have saved the entire look. But it's too much going on and I'm just like, "Oh, really great. Another ugly witch outfit. Awesome."
Damn, you sound like a professional stylist.
I mean, hey, I'm a pretty fashionable guy, so
I want to see how other people dye it, and then I'll think about buying it.
that's also what I'm kind of waiting for. I think,
Yeah.
maybe the dye can save it. And now it does look pretty cool on like the male models. So the berserkers, makes
No,
them look like
no, no,
legit. No,
no,
you don't
no.
like it?
Oh, as a person that plays Berserker and Warrior, I think the Berserker one looks absolutely horrendous. You look like you basically look like a tall Oompa Loompa in a sense, and it's awful.
The hat. I'm not digging the hat.
I don't like
I
that.
mean, I
Don't
mean,
like that.
giants already look like overgrown Neanderthals already. Why put them in a top hat and a tuxedo? Yeah, I mean, come on. I mean, they could have done a lot better with the New York costume. That's just my personal opinion.
Okay, I can see that. But I don't know. I feel like on the males, the dye will really make a difference. The top hat I don't like on any of them. I don't like the veil on any of the females. Um, but I think at least for the male models, the dye can probably make a difference there.
Yeah.
But we'll see.
Let's go through chat here in a minute. Uh, Zeus isn't a fan. The ugly costumes, I agree. And to Alive says,
Can,
"What do
can
you?"
we hold on? Because I really want to go out on this. Can we pull up the giant costume, please? Like, if we
Yeah,
just
yeah.
take a pause at the giant costume, just look at it.
Maybe
I'm
get the hat in
sorry
there
for
too.
all you giant players out there that you may like this costume, you may think it's real cool, but personally, I don't like it. And a lot of besides from the the Iron Man costume that Zerka got, and the Halloween costume, and the BD9, those are phenomenal. We're still waiting on the costume that we're supposed to get, which is the one that makes you kind of like a Viking with the ram horns. That one is absolutely sick.
Yeah, that one is really nice, and the Iron Man costume was pretty cool too.
Hmm.
I like the Iron Man costume the best.
Look
That
at
was
it.
like I literally wanted to re-roll Berserker just so I could wear it.
Okay,
And
I'll
then
admit the Berserker one does kind of look a little bit Count Dracula.
I don't know how I feel about it. Truly, like
he honestly, he literally looks like Frankenstein in a top hat and a tuxedo. That's literally what he looks like.
I'm gonna pull up the
Minus the beard.
warrior. It isn't. Is this the warrior? I can't even tell. Looks like he's a dagger. Oh, I think that's a witch. Hold up. Where's the warrior? What? Okay, well I guess I'm not pulling a warrior then. Screw that. I don't know. This looks like a warrior.
That
He has a dagger on his right. Weird. Did they put a dagger on the costume? Did they put the dagger on the costume? No.
I'm
Why would
not.
they
I'm
do
not.
that?
Yeah, they did. They did. It's there.
Hold on. Let's see. Does Berserker have a? Berserker has a dagger. Okay, yes, that's warrior. What the hell?
like they have a dagger on the costume.
Okay. Well, anyways, I don't know how I feel about it. I really don't. I don't like the color. I know somebody else said that in chat.
Oh yeah, no. The default color is disgusting.
But the
but
collar,
for sure.
the collar.
Oh, the
It's like
collar.
it looks like it's about to eat him
yeah.
up.
Yeah.
I don't like the color either. I don't like the color scheme. I do like I do like the silver kind of like highlight, but other than that, yeah. It just looks like a tuxedo. Honestly, it's a stupid tuxedo.
So confirmed, we all hate this costume.
I mean, I'm
alright.
going through some of the classes here and I'm looking at them. I don't know if you can pull them up on stream for everybody. The Valquan looks all right, but the veil is just killing it. The long sleeve, the frills. I feel like it's just a little bit too much.
This is why I hate Sorks. So if you look at the Sork costume, right? Look how lovely and sleek those sleeves are. It's nicely laced. It looks elegant. Then go look at the fruffy, flompy little witch. I mean, like, what?
Yeah,
Sork always gets the sexiest costumes. It makes me upset. Like,
Okay.
even though I hate this costume, she looks beautiful in it.
Oh my god. I'm gonna pull up some chat real quick. I just want to read through. Let's see. God, I lost my stuff. Okay. Yeah. Why did they make it so that you can't sell on the marketplace? Jolly Pixie mentioned that.
I guess it's because I honestly, I'm not gonna say I don't know because they did that with the Halloween costume. They were limited time, but you were able to sell them on a marketplace. So I'm guessing this is more of like a seasonal thing, and you have to purchase it in a sense. I could be wrong.
Well, I mean, like, even if there's, I kind of dozed off halfway through the sentence. I'm sorry, I'm really sleepy.
Oh my gosh.
I'm such a bit. Yeah. Sorry. They're still gonna sell the same amount, aren't they? Okay, is it a money scheme? That's what I want to know.
I think it does come down to that. Honestly, whenever decisions and choices like this are made, it always comes down to money. They probably figured. I mean, well, one, they're wrong because this is not that groundbreaking of a look. But they probably figured that, oh, special event item only available till March. People are gonna rush to go buy this. Let's make it pro shop only. Um, for whatever reason, they have their internal metrics that they can see and we cannot. Maybe they felt like it was going to be a better move to make this so that you had to buy it from the Pearl shop.
Well, I mean, like, if they made it so that you could put it on the marketplace, they would have probably sold more, right? Because oh well, I don't know how business works. Never mind. I should shut up.
I mean, no, that's not like an illogical thought process. And you think about it, yeah, if it's something that people really want, then yeah, they might have sold more if you had people
Begging for it
out there,
on the
right, willing to buy it and throw it on the market. Maybe that hasn't been going according to plan as of late. I don't really know. Again, I don't have their internal metrics to say.
Yeah.
And when I say metrics, I mean like their budgeting and accounting and stuff.
Now, Dantrax mentioned this, and I've heard a lot in the past couple weeks. There's a whole issue with not being able to mix and match the costumes and get the set effect. And people want that really badly, and Cacao's just not giving it to them.
I thought you were able to mix and match costumes to get the set effect.
I don't think you
No,
get the buff. And
you don't. It
recently,
has to be the same.
I know the warrior costumes have been. It's just two pieces. You put the two pieces on, and you
The
get
full, yeah.
the full buff. Like you can't take the gloves off. You can't take the boots. It has to be the whole thing.
That's something that I've kind of wanted from the very beginning, because I mean, I feel like if you've bought these pieces, like, okay, so gloves should always do the same thing regardless of what the costume is. Boots should always do the same thing regardless of what the costume is. And that's usually the trend. I don't see what the harm is if you mix and match pieces of costume sets. I feel like as long as you have on a certain amount of costume pieces, then you should be able to get that effect. I don't think that there would be anything wrong with that.
I agree.
All right. Let's see. I'm gonna read
And
through some
I
more
think
chat.
it's like that for the horses, like for the horse gear. As long as you have a certain amount of horse gear, then your horse gets that buff.
Yeah.
Because
Do horses get buff?
what's up? What about
Yeah,
horses?
the horse gear does give a buff. And here, let me go grab my horse right now.
While you're doing that, I'm just gonna read. Sorry, go ahead, Pat.
I'm looking at the Tamer costume as you're showing it, and without the get rid of the veil, or whatever what do you even call it? Get rid of the frilly sleeves. Even cut off the frilliness to it. It, it looks like a really nice costume. It's just all the extra stuff added to the costume just kind of takes away from it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I
And
like myself some simplicity, modernity.
yeah, and I get what they're trying to go for, like a whole New Year's ball type routine. I guess that's the sense of what they're trying to make it out to be. But it's a little bit eccentric, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry. Just to go back to the whole gear thing very quickly. So I'm looking at my horses set right now, which has a mixture of Cavaro and Karlstein. And there is a little message there that says equipping 4 or more pieces of any gear, regardless of set, will increase the chance of learning a skill. So the ability to make it so that, equipping 4 or more whatever of so and so, you get 10% combat XP is possible. They've just chosen not to do it for costume pieces, I guess.
Yeah. All right, let's see. I know someone said a minute ago, and it's going to take us a little off topic, but N2 Alive says, what do you guys think about classes having a second awakening or current awakening getting more skills?
I think it's really early for that. Eventually, do I feel like they will do something like, I don't know, maybe they'll call it Ascension or something crazy. But I mean, we all have just, at least in our version, just gotten, all the classes just got their awakenings released. I think it's really early to start hoping for like a new awakened set or so. But I think eventually they will do that. You look at games like Vindictus, which have been out, Vindictus has been out for years, and they still continue to expand the classes and the abilities that are in that game. So I would only assume that it would be logical for it to happen in this game as well, especially if they want to keep the life of the game going.
Mm-hmm.
This is true, and I agree with you guys. I feel like it's way too early, especially since we just got all of our awakenings, and they still have to go through the problem of dealing with the discrepancies between AP and DP. And
Right.
that's a huge thing. And giving us new skills on top of that probably have a higher modifier and hits multiple times, and probably more than 3 to 4 times. It's going to show the difference between AP and DP even more than it already is. I feel like they
True.
should try to rebalance that, and they're still doing class balances too, also.
Yeah, I agree 100%.
So yeah, and just to even point out class balances, they changed Warrior. Warrior received another change again, which some people are saying it's a buff, some people are saying it's a nerf. Personally, I feel like it's a buff to Warrior because it's gonna minimize a lot of the desync that Warriors have been having, and apparently I mean, there's always been this conversation between which KD is longer, whether it's a bound or knockdown itself that's longer. I've heard KD is longer than a bound, bound is longer than KD. So e- I don't personally know which one is longer because I've done my test and I felt like bound was shorter, but I could be wrong, you know.
Yeah.
And some, I guess Berserker got a slight change. Also, they can use Fear Strike now, even with insufficient WP. The skill will be used 3 times consecutively. They also did some changes to Witch and Wizards, and this is mainly concerned. They made it so Lava Field is has 100% accuracy now, and Toxic Field and Lava Field, the damage don't stack any longer,
Right.
and only one of those skills will be applied. It's mainly for large scale PvP
Yeah.
and to reduce the frame rate issues that a lot of people have been having.
I kind of knew that that was coming though because they'd already made that change in KR
Mhm.
to those skills. I usually follow on the forums the Witch and Wizard um, boards pretty closely, and there are a couple people on that forum that will normally post like KR patches for our class. And so when that came, I wasn't even mad about it because I was kind of expecting it to be coming anyway.
How would a defense focused awakening work? Thantrax wants to know about, like, how do you think that would work if that was a thing?
As an awakening for a new class or a
Just
current class that's
like a
in the game.
second awakening.
Well, for one, if they're going to make a defense, if there were to be a defense focus awakening, then the base class would have to have damage output on its own. It would actually have to be able to sustain itself
Is it
for
like,
that defense awakening to work.
would it work like, have you ever played Overwatch? When Mei goes into her ice ball and then she heals up and nobody can hit her. It's kind of like, would that be a defense focus? I don't know how it would work because you can't.
I
No, it would. Oh, let me give an example. It would more so be well. I can't even use Aeon as an example to be honest with you, but I'm gonna give the example anyways. Okay, so they had a class called Templar, and Templar was the tank class. They had a lot of defensive skills. They didn't have any DPS skills, others aside from Break Power, and Break Power was the main source of damage for them because the skill could crit from anywhere from 3K to 6K, 6.7K, if not even higher, and as the game progressed, they started buffing some of their said to be DPS skills, but they also maintain the aggro skills as well and the defensive skills like damage reduction and so forth like that. Their Iron Skin, Shield Wall, even their block chance was increased on certain things. I guess you can use that sort of comparison, but they would have to make it so the class was able to self-sustain, and they have to make sure they don't push the class too far to where the class becomes overpowered, where it has high sustain and high damage.
Mhm.
It's the most unkillable class in the game. So it's a very that when it comes to that situation, it's very tricky, especially if you have balancing issues already.
Yeah, when I think about like a defense class or a defense awakenings, my mind for some reason automatically goes to a bit more support
Hmm.
in a role. So, it would probably be, to be perfectly honest, I don't see that coming to this
Mm,
game. But if it did, I would imagine that it would be a class that has an awakening that can actually provide, you know, support and buffs to the party, or even I would imagine more skills like protected area. So protected area for witch is pretty much just a huge AoE defensive buff for the witch and their entire party. I would imagine more skills like that. Pretty much the skill makes you immune to CC. It increases your DP to like crazy levels. Of course, hidden. It doesn't actually show the number go up. But you pretty much become unkillable for about 8 seconds if you have it at max rank. So I would imagine more skills in line with that, whether it's actual shields or different types of speed buffs or AP buffs or different things like that.
definitely, sort of in a sense, like well, another example of Valk. How could I forget? See, this is a problem. Valk is not really played as much anymore because of what they did to her. And Valk was a really nice class. She was slow. She was more so the tank. She had a heavy burst combo if played correctly, and then she had defensive capabilities at the same time.
Yeah, there's this one Valk that I always think about. I used to see earlier on in the game. Vera Still, hands down, was the best Valk I've ever seen before in game. I would have honestly said best Valk NA. But I don't think they play anymore. I think they quit the game a while back. But I've always admired the way that she played that, or he, could be a he, I'm not sure, but the way they played that class, because they knew their class inside and out and was always very good at it. Um, like it showed what a Valk should actually be.
A lot of the players are coming back now, aren't they?
Yes, that is true.
With all the updates, with the Awakenings all out,
Mm-hmm.
Nouver
Yeah.
is out, um,
We have a
and it's nice.
lot
You
of
can,
returning players.
yeah, have you seen the Olvia channels?
Olvia channels always crowded. Yeah.
They're either crowded. I saw them overrun like 3 times.
Wow. Yeah.
All right.
It kind of almost made me kind of wish that I had like stopped playing for 30 days just so I could go
I
back
know,
in there
me
and get the
too.
200 XP. Oh my gosh.
We also have a lot of new players too as well that are coming to the game.
We do.
See, I feel bad for the new players because it must feel really weird to be that far behind. Of course, they're gonna catch up eventually. There's a lot of catch up mechanics, but
Yeah, so Aki, in a guild that I'm in, which I actually just created the guild, but well, not just, it's probably about like 2-3 weeks old now. But anyway, I'm accepting a lot of newer players, and it's kind of like my first initial thought usually is like, wow, why don't you know that? And then I kind of have to slap myself and be like, Rashawn, they just started playing this game last week. Give them a break. And it's a lot to learn. Like when you're just coming in, especially with everything that they've added now, on
Mhm.
top of everything that was prior, it's a lot to learn, and it can be very overwhelming. If you're just kind of coming in here blind, and you don't really have, that guidance or someone that you can ask questions to. So
yeah,
I kind of do feel for them because it's a lot.
Yep,
to
and
play BDO solo as well is just,
Yeah.
that would be so difficult because there's so much of a knowledge base around the community.
Right.
That's really, it feels necessary at this point.
And definitely too. And for anybody that's new, that's watching the stream right now, and you have a friend that's just playing the game, and you feel like you don't have enough information to help them, always check out people in the BDO stream, in the BDO channel on Twitch. You can check out Zeti and Macalis, Blade Bokes, Envy Me, Vert. I think Vert streams every now and then too as well. Not Lucari and a few others that I can't really remember your name right now, but if I remember, I'll mention it as the stream goes along. But definitely check them out. These guys are all knowledgeable people. They've been playing the game since I closed beta or even since the launch. They have been streaming for a very long time. They have a lot of resources, a lot of knowledge about the game. So if you guys have any questions or anything that we can't answer for you here, you can always go to one of them, and they'll be able to answer your head you in the right direction.
Yeah.
Remember to do that.
All right. Do you guys want to Laurel's 11? It's been up for about 40 minutes, 30 minutes.
Yeah, so about 43 minutes or so.
So, should we get into patch notes?
Patch notes. Yeah, patch notes. I know we touched on it earlier with some of the balances and so forth. Let's get
Yeah.
into the patch notes.
All right. So, first thing, of course, we all know the world boss Nouver has finally been released. And that was a huge deal. Waiting for so long to get that dragon. And we touched on this. People were saying APDP is in a place where they really, really like it right now. And now with Nouver release, people are going to be jumping 20 AP, so maybe 10. And it's going to really increase their power. And DP isn't going to be going up much. So we'll see how the balance, plays out.
I mean, I'm sorry,
yeah,
go ahead.
Go ahead.
Oh, no, I was just going to say about the whole DP thing. I watch a lot of streamers in Russia and Korea, and it is not completely crazy or unheard of to see people over there with 400 plus DP. Now, I know that is crazy amounts to get, but when people say, oh, DP can't scale up anymore or it can't go up anymore, I'm kind of driven to be like, oh, no, it can. You just need to actually do it or try for it. Um, I 100% agree. Yes, AP is about to skyrocket for us in this version because of the release of the Nouver. But I mean, there were people that were, afraid of plus 16, 17, 18 coming to our version of the game because they're like, oh no, that's gonna ruin the game for people and it's gonna make AP crazy. And we've been all right. It's been pretty good. You just kind of got to roll with what's going on. If you are committed to gearing up and being competitive in the game, then it's just a part of the game, and you either keep up with it or you fall behind. I don't know. It's just what it is.
Yeah, and I agree with you. And also, too, for classes that use an AP offhand already, it's going to be a no-brainer for them to switch because it's just like, well, I'm class that uses an AP offhand. Why am I going to stick with a steel dagger or a horn bow, a white horn bow, when I can get a Nouver and get an extra slot, all
Right.
resistance 10%, and more AP? So for those classes that use an AP offhand, it's going to be literally a no-brainer for that. But for classes like giant, let's say giants, for all the Valkyries that are still around and warriors that are currently using uh, a Kudum shield, you're gonna be in that position where we'll do. Let's say I'm already at 220 AP as a warrior or 218. Do I want to sacrifice the accuracy that the Kudum gives and the ignore resist for some and the DP for some extra AP, or do I feel comfortable where I'm at? And
Thantrax. So my bad. I thought you. My bad. Go ahead.
yeah, it's for some players they're going to switch because they're going to want the extra AP. They're going to want to be the competitive players are going to want that. But for the people that are more casual about it and people don't have a lot of money to burn or more memfrags or assets to them available to them, it's going to put them in a predicament in a sense, and they're going to be in the middle of it trying to decide whether they want to stick with their Kudum or go for Novir, go through the whole hassle of enchant and get try again, possibly a Ted again. It's going to be a different situation with them for them.
Yeah. I mean, like, the Thantrax said this. He says, personally, I feel Kudum feels stronger than Nouver. The AP isn't as high, but the total number of stats on Kudum is greater. I agree. What do you guys think? Nouver for AP or sorry, my bad, PvP or PvE? I know people are start classifying one or the other.
I
Uh,
personally would use a Novir for PvE.
Yeah?
I I'm always in the house of I don't think that there's ever a right or a wrong when it comes to build choices. Because especially in this game, no class is necessarily, you know, key to be one thing. Yeah, you have the witch that has some support capabilities, but you could no way peg the witch as a support class. You have the warrior that maybe some people would say, or the warrior or about people would probably say, oh, that's supposed to be the tanky class, but they do viable amounts of damage. So you can't. I don't feel like you can really peg one option as one or the other. I feel like both of them. You could take a Kudum and use it for PVE if you're fighting higher level mobs and you want to hit more, or you could apply it to PvP if you're fighting people that have a bit more evasion. Or DPing, you want to make sure that you're hitting them more. AP, same deal. You want to run through mobs faster. There you have your PVE application. You want to do more damage in Siege Wars or 1v1s. If you already have Beg's gloves, then maybe you don't need the extra accuracy from the Kudum and you can use it to apply it to a PvP situation. I think it all comes down to your build, how you have your character set up. That's what is going to be the deciding factor and dictate how you use those weapons.
Also, I just want to say, hold on here. D Spaces said, should you grind silver to buy gear or try enchanting it yourself? You guys want to answer that?
Um, from my experience, really depends on w- you how deep your pocket is for one, and your luck. Your more people say RNG. Your RNG. If you RNG, if you feel like you're a lucky person and you have the deep pockets to go that far, that extra length, then do it. But if you don't feel like you don't have the deep pockets and you can afford to buy it one piece at a time, let's say every week or every 2 weeks, then do it that way rather than going through the headache.
I say it all comes
So
to preference, definitely.
I'll say this: if you are trying to get experience, combat skill points, then yes, you will want to grind and choose a location where you can get good experience and good money. If those two things are your focus or your aim, if you do not care about combat skill points, and your sole or levels, and your sole focus is silver, there is a very easy way to do that. It is very boring. I don't know how new you may or may not be to the game. but there a lot of people will do something called relic runs. I know Aki's familiar with that. I'm sure Panda, you might be as well.
Hmm.
Um, but pretty much that is probably one of the number one ways to get silver very easily. You'll probably need about 30, I would say about 30 mil to start as an investment. And it consists of buying relic shards, usually no more than 750K on the market. Um, and then running, you buy enough to get maybe like 5 scrolls for your first run. Find another group or find a group of people that also have 5 scrolls, run the relics with them, keep the memory fragments, sell them on the marketplace, along with any black stones that you get from the hunter seals that you will trade in. It gets a little bit more, I'm not explaining it too well right now, but it's a very easy process and it's very easy to make money from it. People in my guild right now have jumped from having maybe 20 to 30 mil to 100, 230 mil in the span of a night or two.
Yeah,
Um,
there's I guess easier ways to make
but
money,
of course, I'm
but
sorry, Aki, I just want to make sure that I get the point across. You have to have the value pack. That's what's going to make it really more, a lot more efficient. Okay, Aki, go ahead.
there's better ways to make money, easier ways, but I mean like and ways to make it more efficient in the way that you get exp and money. But relics is definitely a decent process to go and make some easy silver.
Yep. And
It
to touch
takes
on that, to make go ahead, go ahead.
it takes a little time, 45 minutes every 5, and you make 5 to 6 mil every time.
And to make it even easier for you, if you're a person that doesn't have a lot of money, let's say you probably have 5 mil to your name. Uh, if you have 5 mil to your name, right? And you feel like you're not going to have enough to buy 5x, then simple, buy a Battlemill's fishing rod. If you're going to leave your computer on, are you able to leave your computer on?
Hmm.
Buy a Battlemill's fishing rod, and if you can afford to buy a brand from the marketplace, or even if you get one from the Black Spirit Adventure, brand the fishing rod, get it to +5 or buy it at +5, and AFK fish,
All right.
and you build up relics that way.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
every night you'll probably get 2 to 3, probably a little bit more, depending on if you're lucky. And as the week progresses, you'll have more than enough for a 5x, even a 10x, and you can consistently do that. And it's another form. It's basically life skilling, but you're AFK fishing. And if you have time and you don't want to grind, you can active fish too if you want, because apparently you can make a lot of money doing active fishing, as well as farming,
yeah,
setting up a farm. Trading is more so, let's say, later on down the road, because you do need you can do trade routes and you can buy stuff from the trade NPCs and do trade routes on a wagon and so forth like that. But that's something I would say do later on. But you can do gathering, fishing, farming, uh, AFK cooking too as well. Alchemy is one of those things that takes a little bit more time too as well. Same thing with hunting, but those can yield you money too as well.
yeah. And I'm
And
just
processing.
go ahead. I'm sorry. Okay, I'm gonna just say one more thing about the relics. Just in case you don't know, there are relic shards which will create the relic summon scroll or the ancient relic summon scroll. Then there are forbidden books which will create the Karshan summon scrolls, and then there are the scrolls written in ancient language which create
Peel face.
the Pila Fey summon scroll. You get the Pila Face Summon Scroll from mobs in Valencia. You get the Karshan Scroll, which are the Forbidden Books from mobs in Medea, and then you get the Ancient Relic Summon Scroll from mobs in Calphion and from fishing anywhere. If you want to make full profit from doing those scrolls, then yes, the best option is to get the books or the relics or the scrolls on your own. I feel like I'm giving away all my little secrets here, but I don't think that they're actually secrets. I think a lot of people are aware of these things. One of my prime farming spots pretty much got me from level 58, probably got me halfway from level 58 to 59, was Soldier's Grave. Now, one, it was really good for combat skill points. It was really good for getting forbidden books, and it was really good for getting money as well from the different drops that you get there. What you do, you choose a channel, run through all of the elites, get any forbidden books that you can get, swap channels, rinse and repeat. Within a matter of hours, you'll have plenty of books that you can put together to create scrolls, and you'll have enough for a 5-man party, and that is full profit because you've grinded for those books versus actually going to the market and purchasing them. And again, while you're doing that grind, you're also getting experience and combat points. So it's a catch all, I feel.
We should get back on topic to the patch
Yes,
notes.
sorry.
Yeah, that's fine. So I took down a list of what I think were noteworthy features. If I miss out, hey, what's up, Cash? You're late.
What's up, guys?
so late.
I am
We're-
so late.
We're still on the topic of these patch notes, right? Because
Yeah.
I wanted
Yeah.
to get into the item changes, especially for Siege Wars and Node Wars, dude. There's some of
Oh.
the changes that they did too. The a new annex, the Guild Flag of Determination manufacturer has been added for Node and slash Conquest Wars.
What does it do?
Hmm.
What?
Build and activate a Guild Flag of Determination manufactory during a Node slash Conquest War, and after 30 minutes, you can receive the item Guild Flag of Determination. The Guild Flag of Determination item has an expiration time of 4 hours. After 4 hours have passed, the item will no longer be usable. When the Guild Flag of Determination is used, Flag of Determination is created, and this item makes it possible to set up 10 barricades near it.
Whoa.
Yeah.
That's gonna
Okay,
be a lot
Basically,
of
it's
fun
a
for Siege.
it's a spawn point.
Yeah, I mean, well, that's the spawn point is already in game, though, isn't it? The flag.
Yeah, but it
They've just
it
made
kind of dies
changes to it.
easily.
Well, yeah. So this makes a way to actually put some type of defensive mechanism around it, which I'm not going to complain about. The part that I think is going to probably hurt some people is the changes that they've made to like where and how the flag can be placed. Because I know previously, and I was in a guild that did this, you could find some pretty troll spots to put this flag down that made it just really hard or damn near impossible for the enemy to get to the flag to destroy it.
True.
So that will be interesting to see
And-
how that affects wars now.
And the good thing about it too, it does have a range in where it can be placed via ally or enemy forts. And on top of that too, you can't place it in a safe zone. So no more the shenanigans where people are doing, like placing it next to a tree, so it's actually inadvertently in a tree or on the backside of a cliff. You know, just or in between two rocks or something trolly of the sort. You know.
Mhm.
When you said that, everybody in like 3 people in chat said that.
Yep.
All right. I'm not so big on Node Wars anymore.
And speaking of no wars too, because when we talk about no wars, we automatically think of some of the big guilds that currently own a territory and does for it. And last week before, or the week before actually, before Christmas rolled around, we noticed that over the siege, Medaya siege, Gravity had there was 12 guilds on that node apparently, or 10 guilds on that node, and majority of them, quote unquote, may or may not been hired by Gravity to uh, assume leadership of that territory. Now, last week, as you can see, Gravity no longer owns Medai territory. It is now owned by Iconic. We don't know what transpired during that particular siege, but at some point during the siege, the Iconic must have taken the territory. Now, this siege went on for about an hour and 30 minutes. But when the kill conquest the conquest siege war kill feed was checked or the KDs were checked, it didn't match up for the duration of the siege war. So it kind of it's basically raising a lot of eyebrows at the same time. Okay, well, you had an hour and 30-minute siege, but your kills do not account for the duration. But yet you're claiming that you did not hire these guilds and so forth, or you're not allies with these guilds. So people are saying a lot of things. I don't know why people can't be upfront about the things they do. Why there's so much secrecy in this? Because anybody with 2 cents, anybody with a common sense can automatically know that. Hey, you guys are allies. You guys are doing this. So why are you denying it? And people aren't stupid. So why try to go in such a roundabout method with these things that you're doing? And like for Mooncake was literally barred in their base by three other guilds. I sat there and watched it. Mooncake was literally Mooncake could not get out of their base, and while Iconic and Gravity just tore apart Barcode's base.
Damn.
I just don't get it. And even I guess the if you guys have not seen Lucari's, who's the leader of Man Up, his recent video Iconic arc, it
Yeah,
also
I've seen it. I
it's
laughed my ass off at that.
it's a very funny video. If you have not seen it yet, definitely go to his YouTube channel or his Twitch channel, and you can get a link for that video, and we can provide it here during towards the end of the stream for you guys. If you guys not seen the video, it is absolutely hilarious. Funniest video I've seen in a long time. So definitely watch that when you get a chance. But personally, I mean, hey, if you have an ally, if you have an alliance with somebody, okay, whatever, whoop de do, whatever it's how the game is. But why try to hide it? And it's what I don't get.
They don't want to be called out. And just like Lakari's video, where basically it's just a big shout out to like, people that are not stepping up or that are colluding or that are doing something wrong. They just don't want to be called out. People are scared to be called out in real life and in game.
I
And
think it's really just kind of stupid. I mean, in this game, the truth of it comes down to this. You're gonna need allies at some point. When you get into taking territories and sieges, I mean, when you have as many strong guilds as you do all on one server vying for these territories, it does kind of become a bit Game of Thronesy, and you're gonna need to be allied with somebody. That's just the truth of it. So I don't understand why people would be afraid to admit to being allied with another. It's smart to actually do that. Honestly, I would respect
But
somebody
let's say you
more.
get allied and then you lose, then it's even worse for you as a guild because you just had a bunch of people try to go up against maybe you're four guilds and you go against two and you still lose. That's going to be even worse for you.
So here, I want to understand, Panda. You said that Gravity was allied with how many guilds?
from my understanding, from what I was told, now this was not confirmed or denied, but as one of the participants, was one of the people that was spectating and watching the video stream too from different angles, Mooncake was barred in their base, but I think it was Trade Federation, Aftershock, and Killsa Hunters, while Iconic and Gravity was destroying Barco's base.
So who was
And
Gravity supposedly allied with?
apparently, Gravity hired those guilds there. Nephilim got taken out first. I don't know why Nephilim was there. I guess they were there to aid Barcode. There's a strong possibility they may have been there to aid Barcode, or they were just there because it was a free territory. They potentially saw it as a free territory and like, hey, let's go for it. It's a lot of money here. It's billions of silver, so why not try to go for it? And it may have been the case. It may have been the case for those other guilds, but the way things transpired throughout that siege, it just looked a little bit too much to be a coincidence. It was way too. It was perfectly orchestrated. That, and I will say at that it was perfectly orchestrated. The way how things went down and how it transpired, and especially going into this last week's siege war, it just confirms people's suspicion. And on top of that, too, the guild had to do some sort of payout for these smaller guilds because you can't hire these guilds, and even if you win or lose, they're going to be expecting some sort of payment because they spent their time and their guild funds to build on this territory or node. So you're going to have to compensate them via if you win or lose. So that's something that always has to be played into factor too. It always comes into factor like, okay, well, are you going to honor your alliances for future ongoing possible transactions with these guilds or current business, future businesses with these guilds? So at some point, they had to have done a payout, whether they want to do it late at night when there's the least amount of people online, or they do it midday or any time at their earliest convenience, or trading these territories off, like the Critical Fortune Black Rose Alliance did, and Audacity. I think it was Audacity had control um, of the territory last week, and now Black Rose has control of the territory. So I'm guessing this week's coming, it's going to go to Fortune, and it's going to rotate back to Criticals.
Right. Well, yeah. I mean, that's how a good alliance should work. If they're planning on working together in the long run. I know Gravity is a pretty strong guild. I know that they. I mean, I don't think it's unheard of. I know that they hire um other guilds to merc for them. And I know that because I personally know people in some of the guilds that they hire to merc for them. I didn't know that that was a secret though. I thought that was kind of common knowledge.
It's got to
Yeah,
be common knowledge at this point. I mean, the system itself has a built-in mechanism to hire people where you can pay out pretty much at will. So, and the developers haven't changed it, so they're well aware of what it does, and they're happy with it, or they're not going to change it because they don't want to hear the outrage. I don't know, but I mean, it goes back to the old adage that it takes two. So if in the beginning of time in BDO when PvP and Node Wars started happening, people obviously wanted to get an advantage. So they were like, well, let's just ally and let's take these people out. Where if it was just guild versus guild, we wouldn't probably need mercs because it would just be a guild versus guild. But people want to get the advantage. That's why they ally. That's why they do this. And it's kind of unfair in a way because if you have so many allies, obviously your purse, the amount of money you're going to get per node war or siege war is going to go down because you're going to have to pay out. But
I
I think it
don't.
is like Game of Thrones. It's
Yeah,
very similar.
I don't agree. I don't agree with the fact that it's unfair. It's how war works, even in the real world. You
Well, it's
have
unfair just on the statistical level. You've got four guilds going against one guild. I mean,
yes. Sometimes
that's
that's how
unfair.
war is. I mean,
No, I
I,
agree.
it's part of the game, and it's one of the reasons that I like the game. I like that dynamic that you can choose if you want to ally with someone or who you want to ally with.
So you're not calling it unfair. What are you calling it?
I'm calling
Calling
it the
it.
game we're playing.
Oh wow. Okay.
Ladies, please. All
Well,
right.
it's the
Now,
game we're playing, but also we have to remember that the fact that players are the one that make the game how it is. The game is there, it's handed into us with all these mechanics and so forth, and
Mm,
it's the players that it, without players having this understanding of the game and so forth,
if the
it would things
developers
wouldn't be like.
didn't want this to be a possibility, I assure you, it would have long been since removed.
Well, I don't know about that either. I mean, it did take them 3 months to fix the
Yes, but
shovel exploit.
this is something that is okay. Yes, and they banned people that were doing that. They've made no
Not
mention
all of
of
them.
this. They've made no mention of this being a thing that they did not intend. This is largely out in the open. You can see this happening left and right. It's being streamed, it's being recorded. If this was something they didn't want or intend, they would have already said something about it. This is a
Bear in
part
mind,
of the game. It's node wars. Wars is, I mean, I was in the military for 6+ years. This is how war is. You have people you ally with to take out an enemy. How many people went up against Hitler to get rid of him? Uh, a whole shit ton. I
a
mean, it's
lot
just
more.
what it is.
But bear in mind that these developers were once players themselves, or still, or do play this game. So you have to bear in mind that at the end of the day, they're also still players. So it does draw back to the point of players. Yes, it's players that is literally people that used to play this game or decided to go into game development that made these concepts of the game. So we have to remember that. But touching on something else too, which you stated with the alliance situation, it what I want to figure out is before in previous podcasts, Gravity mentioned that they were allied with FML, even though the entire server that knew it already. And for those of you that were on Eden and so forth, or for those of you that kept up with stuff that happened, transpired on Eden, if you're on another server, we all knew that Gravity and FML were allied with each other. They didn't try to hide
Right,
it, whatever the
right.
case was. For everything actually came out, and they did hire Merc Gills back in the day too. Same thing
Hmm.
with Man Up, which is another big guild, and they've hired Merc Gills to help them siege certain territories.
Yep.
So we're not going to exclude them out of fact. Same thing with Kyokai and Criticals. I'm sure they've hired other smaller guilds to help them out. I know back in the day, Gravity had Waifu Hunter and a couple other guilds helping them as well.
Hmm.
Critical had Kyokai helping them for the longest time, and Manup had whatchamacallit. They were once
Show
allied
Nation.
with they had Cho Nation, but they were once allied with Gravity at some point. Back in the early days of the
They
game,
were,
with
yeah,
the
and then
whole
something
gatekeeper
happened.
situation. Yeah,
Yeah,
and basically everything just went kabuts.
yeah.
But they stated that, and they even Mental Tormentor stated that he was currently happy with his guild strength, and he thought his guild was in a good position. But after the first initial big siege of the game, they merged with FML, their allied guild. And I guess there was a big stink with a lot of the players being kicked because they were quote unquote said to be spies for Man Up or this guild or whatever the case was. There's a lot of talk going on, or they're kicking people to make room for the FML core to transition into Gravity, and those remaining players they probably dispersed somewhere else. Maybe, and I guess Iconic was bleeding out a few members because apparently their GM quit, and they said their GM had quit for several multiple months. But in my first interview with these guilds, I spoke to the GM directly. So it's like people were trying to they call it damage control. A lot of damage control is trying to go around, which I don't see. I mean, if your guild is having internal issues, then what the hell? Whatever the case is, what image are you trying to
These
protect?
guys are elitists. They hold their position so high at this point that that any stain, it's almost like being a celebrity at this point. They are literally the 1%. They're probably the 0.1% of the BDO community. These people are elitists, and in the guilds that they create now, even Man Up at this point with the 200 plus AP, the it's literally become elitists. And when you're the elite, any problem, small or whatever, they don't want anybody to know.
Susu,
Is that
you
is
sound
that
like you're crying over there.
What's up, Zeus? You got something to say? What'd you say?
I'm sorry. I just felt like I was at like a Wall Street rally for a
My
second.
God.
I'm that guy. I'm that guy.
There's a 1%.
Well, you got to look at the comparisons. Is it or is it not the truth? I mean, literally.
Everyone saved up for there are starving children in Africa.
Man Up
This
comes
shit
on this
just got
channel,
real.
a couple weeks ago, and he's like, don't come. I don't know what the AP is. What is it?
He
260?
said
Is that the number?
no. His exact words were when somebody there was a question in chat that was asked that what are the requirements to get into Man Up? And Lucari stated level 60, 220 AP, no exceptions.
Right. That is the definition of elitist. I mean,
Okay.
the amount of luck, exploitation, time. You're talking about a very small percentage of people that have what Lucari is looking for. And he even said on his stream that it's almost like he's going out with somebody that is better than him. He even says that his members are better than him because literally he's creating an elitist group of people. I mean, I don't like when he shits on other people because at this rate he's creating his own. He talks down to diggers. Like literally, he's got to have a few diggers on his guild. He has to, with that kind of AP.
So one, I'm going to acknowledge two things here. The fact that we have gotten way off topic. I'm sorry, Aki. I know that we have. And then secondly, I'm going to address what you're saying right now. Yes, I absolutely do believe that there is an elitist type attitude that can run rampant and prevalent in any game that creates a competitive nature or edge. Do I believe Man Up and many of its players are elitist? Yes, I do. Do I know any of them personally? A few. Do I think that they have the right to be elitist? I'm not going to sit here and call everyone in that guild a digger or an exploiter because, quite honestly, it would be folly on my part to say that or assume that. Some of these people have actually worked really hard to get the gear and the experience and the levels that they have. And I'm not going to sit here and try to tear them down for that or take that away from them. I am currently myself sitting at 200 AP. I know that is not the average for a lot of people in the game. But if you are playing this game and you want to continue to be competitive in it, I said it earlier in the stream, you kind of have to roll with what's going and keep moving
What's the
forward.
difference between 200 and 220? Is there a large difference between that?
Actually, yes. In the scale,
That's what I'm saying.
well, then yes. I'm not saying I'm anywhere near on that level. I'm just saying that I'm at 200, and that is not even average. So yes, these people, I feel like, yeah, you know what? They kind of do have a little space to maybe be a little elite because they're doing things in the game that other people are afraid to do. You look at channel chat. Anytime someone fails on a TED attempt or a pen attempt, all you see is mocking and people being made fun of because they're failing. But these are the people that are actually trying for it. they're trying to get there. They're trying to advance to the next level. So I'm not going to knock people for doing that or for wanting to excel or be the best if that's what they feel like they're here to play this game for. Am I going to sit there and call them a whole bunch of elitists? No, because I know a lot of people that
Well, no, we're gonna harken back to why we had the question, or we were talking about why people don't want to acknowledge that they're an alliance or
right,
that they have guild problems is because they're the elitist.
you said you okay, Lucari an elitist. Absolutely, I agree. But you can't say that everyone in his guild is. Some people just
No,
want.
of course not.
But that's kind of what you just
Some people
said.
in his guild are exploiters.
Okay, so like I said, I know people that have 220 plus AP that are not elitists, they're not assholes, they're not jerks. And the reason why they choose to be in guilds like that is because they know that the skill and the progression that they've taken with their gear is actually going to be put into place and into use. And they want to enjoy the game in its totality in every aspect, including high level castle sieges and high end PvP. I'm not going to knock those people for wanting to do that. So do I agree with the fact that everyone in Man Up is a dickbag, asshole, exploiting elitist? Absolutely not. Do those people exist in Man Up? Absolutely yes. But I don't think it's fair to clump everybody into that same bracket.
Right, but
that's my point.
Hold on.
That I think elitists
Kai,
are
Kai,
bad.
Kai, Kai,
Yeah,
let me interject here for a moment. I do agree with Zeus on that point. Now, with that being said, now this is something that is in recent development. I guess this transpired yesterday. Apparently, people were saying that Man Up is having an internal strife. Now, we don't know what the cause is, but apparently, a lot of the members have been G quitted. Now, I don't know for what reason. It could be somebody mentioned earlier. When this happened, somebody did mention that, oh, it won't be long before the relevant ego clashes with the Man Up ego. And I don't know if that's what's coming into play here. It could be for some ulterior motives. We don't know what the case is, but a lot of these guys are saying that, oh, Man Up shit guild, whatever the case is, can't deal with these relevant members. And I think it was Mac earlier today when he was streaming this morning before the servers went up. Somebody questioned him as to why he's not in Man Up. And I don't know if any of you guys watched Lucari's stream the other day, where he was saying that Mac was, his favorite person, and it used to be Shaq. But apparently, Mac said that, when Lucari said that, Shaq kind of went at him in G chat about it, and it caused a sort of, I guess, a big stink, or whatever the case was. So he didn't really want to say too much about it, but I heard that was being said. So we don't know, and it's not Man Up alone that's probably having these issues. I'm sure there's plenty of other guilds out there that are having these issues. But since you guys are on the subject of Man Up, I just want to throw that out there. What do you guys think that's happening right now with that?
I mean, anytime there's, a merger of any type, there's going to be personality clashes. When you look at FML, people going into Gravity, and the members that did not, quote unquote, make it into Gravity, all those FMLs members joining Final, there's always going to be that initial friction between views and ideas and what people think should be done versus what is actually being done. Now, me personally, I've worked with Final before. They are not, or they were not, the most strategically sound group, and this isn't me trying to knock them down. Neither was the guild that I was in previously, but we were all chose to kind of work together. So when you have people coming from FML, which was an environment that was very structured, and the shit was well together, going into a guild now that is not as structured, not as PvP sound, not castle and siege ready, there's going to be a conflict of mentality there, because you have the new people coming in thinking that they're better than all the scrubs already there and thinking, okay, well, we need to whip this shit into shape. And then you have the people that have been there all this time thinking, well, damn, I didn't think we were that bad. So there's always going to be that clash.
But it's
whenever...
like it's like some young, college grad just going into Wall Street. It's the same basic thing. I mean, I hate to keep on going back to this, but that's exactly what it is. I don't think Man Up is a casual fun guild. It isn't. It is literally a bunch of Wall Street traders competing for the top tier of the server. That's what it's, and internally they're all competing against each other. So I don't think that. I mean, there might be fun times. Obviously, Wall Street traders go to the bar. They probably able to drop $1,000 or $1,000,000. I don't even know their level of spending, and they're gonna have fun every now and then. But I think most of the time it's a bunch of competitive grinding. I don't know. I mean, that's what I envision Man Up, and I hate to just bring Man Up as the only guild that this applies to. It applies to more than just Man Up. Let's be real. Man Up's the one that's obviously the Chicago Bulls, the New England Patriots, because they're the ones that are on the top right now. But in general, this is happening in a lot of these elitist guilds.
And speaking of elitist guilds, I know Kaya, you were here for the first interview that I did with the guilds. And while we're on the topic of elitist guilds, do you feel as if Iconic is an elitist guild based off the interview that I had with the co-GM when she told me? Because at the time I did not know that Verity was a girl. So excuse me, I apologize for calling you a he because I said he several times. So please excuse me on that. But she stated that their members were absolutely top tier and they were getting used to the shit eating pulls. And they said that, and I'm gonna quote again, that come Siege, they will be fucking ready. See
I
you
think
there.
I think Iconic represents a very small percentage of the population in real life where you're a celebrity but you don't really take it. You don't really take it to, like, you don't take your fame. You don't acknowledge it. You don't acknowledge your wealth. And I think a lot of their members are like that. I don't know if it was just the culture in Orwin at the time. I think maybe at this point, unfortunately, they're gonna actually become elitist because they have to be. I don't think you can compete at siege level without being elitist at this point.
You have a very and I don't mean this disrespectfully at all, but I feel like you have a
Disrespectfully.
very skewed. No, I won't do that. I feel like you have a very skewed outlook and view on things. I don't believe that you have to conform to an enemy's way in order to overcome them. I don't think that you have to be a guild of people that have an elitist mentality, that are disrespectful to others, that look down on everyone else, just to say, or just to be able to compete in a siege. And I think that is what's wrong. And maybe we're getting a little too real and too deep here.
No, that's fine.
But psychologically, with a lot of people, it's that simple mentality of you can't beat them, then join them attitude. And if more people stopped thinking that way, then you could probably see a lot more getting done, because there would be
92% of America wanted background checks. Background checks didn't happen. In real life can be transmuted to games, especially at this high level. These people spend a large amount of their time playing the game. Obviously, their real life mentality is going to transfer over to the game, and we're all human anyway. So our human mannerisms will transfer over to anything we do. So I agree with you, but there are going to be guilds out there that do not conform, and for those, they're going to have the hard road, or they're going to have just like it, or they're going to have a good time. I don't really know. I mean, for them, they're going to make their own decisions. But I don't see how Iconic survives without being elitist. I don't think they're not going to be. If they don't become elitist, they will not be talked about ever again.
So being elitist is a personality trait. It doesn't have anything to do with
Maybe it's
PvP
the wrong term.
capability.
Think of
It
a
doesn't
different.
have anything to do with PvP capability or guild member status and standing. So why would they need to become or create or have an elitist mentality to remain relevant? As long as they can prove in battle that they're worth a threat, they will remain relevant. If this guild leader is saying that her members are top tier and that they'll be ready, I don't see them needing. I mean, they're already very geared. as heck anyway. Now, I don't know about their PvP skills. I've heard some things about that, but as long as they can get that up to par and be a threat, I don't see why they would have to change anything
Right,
about
but Elitist
themselves
also
just to do
comes in.
castle sieges.
Elitist
Now,
also transfers to the skill, the ability to actually do PvP.
No, absolutely not.
well, let's touch on that subject. Do you guys feel as if Gravity is an elitist guild based off of what has transpired with this particular guild? Because they've been the spotlight of a lot of shit. Let's just say this, a lot of shit via the digging exploit, where a lot of their members were banned for digging, and a guild known for holding the top seed position and constantly tries to remain at the top. Do you feel as if they're an elitist guild, or they're more so focused
Sure.
on their members, their value their members?
No, I wouldn't even know.
I feel like Gravity is an elitist guild, and I feel like they value people that can help them. When it comes down to it.
At any cost. At any cost.
So couldn't that be said about a lot of other guilds too as well? Couldn't it be said about Iconic,
any top guild, you know, that has a position or standing is going to have some type of, you know, maybe an elitist tinge to it. Do I believe it's all going to be as bad as Gravity? Do I believe it's all going to be as bad as Men Up? No, I don't. Now, we all know that in the other servers or in Uno, there wasn't really much competition when it came to, you know, PvP and castle sieges for some of these guilds. So it was easy for them to sit at the top kind of in a lax state, not really needing to or having the feeling that they needed to prove themselves because they were just there and it was just given. They're going to have to work for it now. And that's just the truth of it. Do I think that that means that they're going to have to change what they're about? No, I don't. I think as long as they're really willing to cull their members and, you know, get everybody, if they're not on par, to get them to par, then I don't see why the guilds have to all of a sudden become something that they weren't in the past.
Right. And from what from what I was told, I know it's good to honor your alliances, and I don't know how ManUp has been with their alliances, but it looks as if all the Gravity's alliances they've held up pretty well with it. I'm guessing ManUp has held up with their alliances because they wouldn't have been able to keep the alliances that they currently have. But while we are on while we touch on the subject, apparently Gravity did hire this war. The siege was planned weeks in advance, right? A week, quote unquote, weeks in advance. Now they hired TradeFed, and they apparently gave TradeFed a, a tier 3 node that had billions of silver on it. And they do, I guess, a lot of stuff off scene and so forth. And Iconic ended up hiring two other guilds to aid, uh, to aid in this siege that happened to Medaya. But apparently, Gravity had nothing to do with it. So it does bring, I guess it kind of does bring some confirmation online because it was 16 bill at stake here. So I guess who wouldn't hire an alliance to try and take that? That's 16 bill silver online for your guild funds. That's 16 freaking bill. That helps you. I guess after taxes, I guess you get back what 8 9 mil bill. I guess the tax cuts in half. I'm not sure because I'm not a guild master. I never collected that much money before or whatnot. But at the end of it, that's a lot of money. That's a lot of money for incentive pays if you do incentive pay or if you do 5 mil contracts plus payouts. So it's a lot of money. Now, will they uphold that alliance that they have? It looks like as you know as it goes to progresses they are because Iconic now has a node. Will they pass it over to TradeFed or will they continue to help TradeFed gain tier 3 nodes?
People don't like change, so they're obviously going to stick with the best thing they can possibly get. If somebody's offering them 4 billion for a node and they got to do like no work for it, they're going to stick around for that. Why wouldn't they? Right? Unless you find a better offer, or unless you go with people that you like better. Maybe that's the case. Maybe that's the deciding factor. Maybe.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, you go ahead.
I just didn't even know TradeFed was still was even going to be relevant in castles and
everyone's relevant in an alliance.
Because I mean, TradeFed. I remember we went up against them. This was a couple months back, and I can't even say that we technically went up against them. They built a tower, and there was nothing. There were no defenses, no anything there. They were all literally like at Velia Coast fishing while we were destroying their tower. So I was still under the impression that Trade Fed was still just mostly like purely life skilling. So are they actually getting involved in PvP now?
From what I've known, they've always been sort of active in it. They have some members that PvP, whether they PvP well or not. They do have members that go out, and they do participate in node wars and siege wars. I know they were in a node war the other day against Barcode and so
Oh
forth
wow.
the other
Okay.
day. But I I want to give a shout out to while we're on the subject of Trade Fed. I know they have a lot of life skillers in their guild, and I'm sure other guilds do too as well. And there's other people that life skill that aren't in the guild, but I really want to give a shout out to the people that do the life skills, especially that they wholeheartedly dedicate themselves to it. Thank you guys for the shit that you do and the consumables and the materials that you place on the marketplace. For those of us that don't life skill or don't actively participate in it, you have our thanks. So I always want to thank you guys for that.
I need weeds and fruit of nature, please. Thanks.
But to get back on track here, I know in the early stages of the game, and for those of you that weren't on the server and that you are now, Man Up was basically the guild that was always they were always out there. They were always out there. People always knew who they were. They were allowed a bunch of angry ruffians, talk shit to people, especially one of their members via Shaq. I think he's in chat too. I think he said something a few times. Talked a lot of shit, especially with gatekeepers. He talked a lot of shit, and Shaq has been known to talk a lot of shit from previous games that I've played with Man Up and so forth. I've been around them, whatever the case is, because I'm a person. I try to mingle with people and I try to get to know everybody. Some people don't like me, so whatever the case is, but I just try to get to mingle and know everybody. And you know, I, that's just me. I'm a mingler, but they were always being burned at the stake. They were always talked about. They were a shit guild. They had shitty members. The members were arrogant, disorganized, loud. They were racist, rude towards their other members and their guild master. Whatever the case is. Now we're starting to see the tides have turned, where Gravity it looks like their guild. Everybody's on a witch hunt for Gravity, and Gravity's at the stake right now. They're literally at the stake, and everybody's out to get them because of the digging exploits. Some people don't like them because they think they're better than everybody else, or whatever the case is. Whatever people have assumed
I don't
or
like
said
them.
about them, and Kaishi doesn't like them. So
Yeah, I won't lie. When I found out that so many of them had gotten kicked for digging, I like when they disbanded and there was like only three of them, me and the guild I was in before. Shout out to PK. We purposely went and took grind spots from them just because we knew we could. And then called them diggers, you dirty digger. But anyway, sorry.
Oh my
Continue.
god.
yeah, but you see, it's literally it's a rotating clock here because when the servers first started here and everybody came to Eden, or whoever came to Eden, Gatekeepers was the guild that was known to have the top spot. They run multiple channels until Man Up and Gravity and whatever other guilds formed together started to try and push them out. First, it
Right.
was Man Up and Gravity. I mean, Man Up and Gravity on the off scene, versus them, and then it came into the picture where Man Up and Gravity and a few other hostile and a few other guilds pushed them out. They started pushing them out of great grind spots. They started
Right.
pushing them out of Sawsons, anywhere, find them anywhere, channel hop to kill them, camp them at bosses, whatever the case is, to shut them down completely because of what they were doing. And I know Silta said in a lot of the cars videos, I guess his user Silta said, "This is it's a video game, but it's a video game for adults." And they had this elitist, in a sense, people will call it elitist persona to them, to the guild, that they were better than everybody else, and everybody else was below them. And if you
No
did not
quote
talk to them with
unquote
respect
adult.
or
No
behave
quote
with them in a
unquote adult.
respectable fashion, yes, Kaishi.
No quote unquote adult is going to go onto the desert and exploit the shit out of the game to the point where they become overpowered in a week. Okay, no quote unquote adult is going to do that.
Silence,
No,
guys, you're
I
way
can
too
see
loud.
adults. I could
I'm
see
kidding.
adults doing that. Some people never mature.
Yeah,
Some
but
people
that's
change
that
completely when
mature.
they.
That's exactly right. Quote unquote adult. I'm talking about the mature adults who have families, who have maybe a job, who these people are. I'm not gonna call them they're gamers. Okay, that's what they are. We're gonna place a name on. We're gonna label them. We're gonna call them gamers. Okay,
But I'm a
they are
gamer.
elitist gamers. In this group, they will do anything and everything. They're active right now, today, at this very second. They are actively looking at the new patch and trying to exploit it to their benefit. They're probably over in some area in the desert trying to figure out the newest activity to make $1 billion overnight.
You are like so...
What the
Okay.
fuck?
Oh my
So,
gosh,
Kai,
you're on level
Kai.
10 right now.
Let's bring it down. Let's bring it to about down to about
Kashi is
five.
about to burn somebody
Let's
alive.
bring it-
Let's go.
Oh my god.
Let's bring it down here, bud. Now, you think these guilds are scheming? What do you think? Do you think Man Up is scheming something? Do you think they're scheming? Do you think Gravity's scheming something?
No.
I don't know, but I do think that the ascension of Man Up, it seems like it's the most legit in the past 3 to 4 months. So if you're talking about a guild that you should respect, maybe it's Man Up. But Man Up now is different than Man Up from the beginning. Man Up now has a bunch of 20 level 60 people that are definitely diggers, exploiters, no lifers, gamers, blah 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 blah. The list of elitist mentalities continue. So they're no longer the guild that they used to be. Like Lakari's whole vision of what Man Up was is no longer prevalent. It is not.
I think you're going a little hardcore there.
So
How dare?
do you feel?
I mean, okay,
as-
so
joining guild.
to everybody out there watching the stream, Harambe and I are a little bit late to everything. We apologize. Had some things going on. I'm actually going to leave in a minute. If you got Twitter, follow us on Twitter, Baffling Black Spirit. Or no, it's BDO _pod podcast, and hashtag with a quote unquote adult for the hashtag for today. Kashi, so pointing all these fingers, what's
Kashi
got you
go
so
get-
angry? What's got you so angry because of it?
I think I've been this angry from the beginning. When we did this podcast, I had every intention of calling out people that should be called out. But I was waiting and trying to get all the information that I possibly could get before I made, accusations. But I think the culture of Node and Siege Wars is now become elitist. And that's okay. There's nothing wrong with being a Wall Street trader, okay?
Oh my
But
God.
that's who you are, and you have to accept it.
I think you're getting a little too personal with this. I
Hold on,
really do.
Hold on, guys, because he's stating his
I mean, he
views
is
on it, and
stating
it's
his opinion.
and I want to hear it. And so, what do you feel the current decline with Man Up? Okay, so most people, I guess, everybody's seen it as decline. I don't know what it is because everybody has some end game goal. Same thing with Gravity, with the merger. What they did, the unexpected merger to most people, which was something that's probably pre-planned already, just like the siege that apparently was planned on Medaya weeks in advance, quote unquote. What do you think is going to transpire this weekend with Man Up losing so many members? Do you think that Gravity is going to see it as an opportunity to kick them while they're down, essentially? What do you think is going to happen?
No, I don't see that happening. I mean, you think about so many memes that have came out, even with the latest Man Up video and all that. People would gladly just ditch guild almost to go join Man Up and be a part of what's becoming a legacy in BDO for the first year. That's one of the best guilds and biggest names you've heard all year is Man Up. They've been going toe to toe with all these guilds, and they might have lost some fights. They might have done this and that or whatever, but just because they lose an amount of members, I can't say that they can't fill those by the weekend easily.
But then Man Up lose members. Like I saw, there was like a 74
Yeah,
today.
what's up with their member population?
They're
I
at
heard-
74, but we don't know why. There's been world shouts saying that there's been drama. There's been people
Yeah.
saying that they're
mean-
shedding skin, they're trimming up fat for who knows what. But either way, if they really wanted to push back up to 99 members, I'm pretty sure they could find the right amount of people easily. People would go, I mean, for the payouts, for the guild contracts, for just having the name above your head saying "man up." Some people go for that, and they'll ditch their guild in a heartbeat almost.
Well,
Well, you got to, I think again another IRL example here. It's like a model. At a certain age, you got to throw them away. There's no longer valuable. And
oh
then
god.
there's a rarity like the Giselle Bunchkins of the world, the ones that are married to Tom Brady. There's the rare ones there. The less than 1%. I mean, we keep on acting like this is so complicated. This is not complicated. This is extremely simple. You know, it's this drama that is occurring in these elitist competitive guilds, and if you really want a fun, laid back experience, you should not want to join these guilds. You should not
Okay,
want to do it.
so people that want to play casually will join casual guilds.
Right.
People that want to play competitively will join competitive guilds.
One
It's simple.
plus
It
I feel
is.
like
It
you're
is.
attacking these people, Kashi, a little bit.
I'm
Just
attacking them.
you're
I'm
attacking them, and I'm gonna be their
I
defender.
think
I'm gonna
he's
play
kind of
devil.
mad he didn't get in the man up.
I'm gonna play devil's advocate and defend these people just a little bit. I mean, some people have the notion of wanting to be, whether you say elitist or hashtag Wall Street boys of BDO, but what makes that so wrong? They have the extra time, they got the skill, they got the RNG. Do they have to be stereotyped as being diggers or exploiters? Why can't they just be good players? Why can't they be normal average Joes getting into these guilds and grinding, doing what they got to do, and helping out these bigger guilds? I don't see a reason to attack these people.
It's all about perception. So, you know, anybody that looks up, it's in the eyes of the beholder. So, sure, you could look at them as, good intentioned, good mannered, good skilled, um, hard working, people, where other people would perceive them to be differently. So, I'm not suggesting that they're bad or that they're doing something wrong or this or that, but I am defining them.
Okay.
I am defining them. I'm suggesting that if you want a good experience, a fun experience, a laid back experience, do not look at any of these skills that we're talking about today.
That's
Oh,
relative.
that's
though.
his. This is his opinion, though.
Yeah.
This is
Yeah.
his opinion. I mean, hold on. Now it's completely forgetting the fact that these guys were exploiting something in the game for their own benefit and that they knew was wrong. All right,
The-
so I hear you, Neo, and I mean that's pertaining to gravity. Some people in Man Up, some people in whatever other these guilds. Though these aren't the people I'm defending. I'm defending the people that Kashi's just stereotyping a whole guild almost, or members a part of different guilds
Exactly.
being elitists, being exploiters, and I feel like that's in no way, shape, or form to come on to. If we want to
How
have
can you?
huh?
Let's break it down. Anybody in Man Up? Is there anybody in Man Up that you could consider calling casual?
Well, I
Dude,
mean that,
who's
but in the
who's
context,
talking about people being casual?
well, no, in the context of saying casual, there's a positive connotation and a negative connotation. The positive connotation would be that guy's casual, meaning he could be laid back. He doesn't have enough time to play, but he's good. Or, as we all know, the negative connotation, a filthy casual, not good enough, gear shit, skills shit. And that's not the way to be attacking these guys by asking whether they are casual or not. These are just regular members. Some people can be toxic if they have the gear and all that. I'm not saying that's the right way to go about things, but some people have the ability to talk shit and bring back up to do it. And I don't appreciate the way you're coming out and attacking these guys. It's because I'm not saying I'm an elitist, but I play a little bit more hardcore than I would
I don't
say a
appreciate
normal.
Lakari coming on to this podcast and saying that you got to be level 60 to 20 AP to get in his guild.
So
I'm
then
Why
gonna-
not? That's his
Kai,
guild, though.
but
No, no,
Kai,
no, 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 no.
You
All
have to
right,
remember
so
that's his guild requirement. That
that's
is
his.
his guild requirements. You
In
don't
my
have to join.
opinion,
You don't have to join it. He stated that that's his guild requirement. A lot of these other guilds they require you to be 185 AP without offhand or something of the sort. Some people might think it's a little bit too extreme. They might do 185 AP without offhand or 165 without offhand, or you have to be level 59 or level 60. There's all sorts of different requirements. So yeah, we can understand your personal feelings on these things, but in certain things, in a lot of the way you're um, attacking these guilds, it's a little bit. I feel like you're being a little bit too biased. So, do you favor one guild over the other? Do you feel like some guilds are better than the other? What
I'm
is?
actually unbiased. I really am.
Okay,
It
so
just
hold on.
it,
Let
It's a
me
very
let me take over
biased
for a
statement.
second from here though, and just say like me being a GM, and you're saying that you're angry or you feel in some way a hatred towards Lakari for coming onto the show and asking people to be level 60 and whatever requirements.
I
I'll
didn't
just
say
go ahead.
hatred. I did not
Okay,
use
I won't say
hatred.
okay, I won't say hatred, but let me just go ahead and say what is so wrong for an individual, whether it be Lakari or any other GM, to want such high requirements for their guild. Naturally, you're going to pick a level 60 with good gear over a new player. At this point in time in BDO, how far we've came along in the year, it's not about personality anymore. It's about your members, whether they cooperate, what their gear is, what their level is, what their skill level is. And you can't just be biased and say that it's unfair or it's dumb for him to come on and ask that. He's worked for this. Any other GM in the top guilds have probably worked for it either. Or also, I mean, they've put up the meme videos. They delivered to the community. They've gotten rid of all these other guilds. They've merged. Whether it be Man Up or any other guilds, you can't just be biased towards them. I feel like, I mean,
Watch the
especially.
game of Survivor, you will see the examples that you just talked about, where people will play the game all nice and truthfully throughout the whole entire show, and normally they will not win. Okay, so obviously, but you have to look at the character of the person.
okay.
Okay.
So this isn't Survivor. This is Black Desert Online,
Oh,
and
it all
all what it
compares.
all comes down to, quite honestly, I have no problem with people having expectations and standards for their guild. As the GM, as now stated, it is their prerogative and their priority to do so to make sure they're getting the quality of members they want. I myself
Yes, and
am a
they
G.
define themselves by doing so.
Exactly. I myself am a GM, and I have my set of standards. Am I creating an environment for elitists, for people to be dicks and assholes?
But do
Absolutely
you allow
not.
everyone in your guild? Like, are you are
No, no, I do not, because I'm looking for
are you the
certain
Stanford? Are
aspects.
you the Stanford of guilds?
No,
Or are
I'm
you the
not.
public?
He's
Are
a
you the
normal
community
player.
college?
He's a
I'm
Are you the
normal
community
player.
college?
this dude loves comparing things
Like
to real
to
life.
be honest,
I
Don't
won't
put
say
the
that I won't say that
Stanford.
I'm a Stanford or a community college. I'm what I am. I do look for personality. If I
That
feel like your
means you're a
personality isn't
hipster.
going to fit or mesh, if you call me a hipster, then sure, I'm a hipster. If
Kashi,
that's your
I mean,
standard
why are you
of
attacking him for?
because clearly this dude wrote a letter to Lakari. Lakari rejected him and said, "No, you fucking scrub plebeian. You cannot join my guild because
I
you're level
mean,
12." This is what this guy is going through. This is why he's so upset. He was rejected. I mean, that's
All
what it
right.
sounds like.
all
So
guilds
so
try to be the best. That's all I'm gonna say.
exactly. All guilds are trying to be the best. If your guild has such a high status of notoriety of being, oh my god, that's blank, that's blah 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 blah, and you are the GM of that guild, of course you are going to want to ask for high level people. Just because I'm level 60 doesn't mean I'm an elitist. I'm level 60 right now, and I'm not an elitist. I'm chill as fuck. Somebody comes into my grind spot, we can share. I don't give a fuck. Let's do
That's a
special deals.
lie.
Let's
That's a
Well,
bond.
lie.
well,
Let's
I
I'm gonna
can.
call you
Hold
out
Oh
on,
right
my
now.
hold on,
god!
hold on, Kai.
Yeah,
I
you're a
can. I can
liar.
touch.
You're a
I
liar,
can touch.
dude.
Hold,
Stop.
hold
You're
on.
a liar.
Okay, so as a person that came back to the game 2 months ago, I decided to re-roll. I had a 57 giant already back when it was actually hard to grind, and
You
I
should
came
stay.
back. I made a warrior, and I
No,
leveled the warrior from 1 to 60. I don't have much time during the weekdays to play, so I mostly just grind a little bit for skill points. My warrior's 60. I got kicked from the guild that I was previously in because apparently my gear was lackluster. And at the time, and then literally the same day as I got kicked, I finished all my boss gear. And I just grinded my way to 60, made enough money, and I'm pushing over 200 AP unawakened and awakened on my warrior right now. And I'm level 60. I used to be an elitist player way back in the early days, but as I've gotten older and shit's changed, my life has gotten a little bit more busy. I'm more of a casual player. Yes, I still don't like playing with shitters in a sense, but I can deal with it because I'm used to certain things. I've gotten used to certain things more since I changed my personality in a sense.
So
So
I have somebody in my guild that used to be in Men Up. And that, I guess maybe this is one of the reasons why I disagree with Cash's, just
Tyrant,
abhorrent
just like
tirade
lazy,
against
yeah,
everyone
it's
in
just
that guild. Me and this dude, he's actually my first officer, and we get along extremely well. I in no way have an elitist mentality. I don't look down on other players. I don't disrespect people unless they disrespect me.
you're lying. Cashew thinks you're lying.
Well, he probably does.
Keep going, keep
I
going.
don't know.
Keep going, keep
but-
going, keep
I'm
going.
actually
but
listening.
but I, he's in my guild, and he is nothing but helpful to other players, whether that's helping them PvP, helping them decide, which gear they should be buying, helping them out with the game. People like this exist in these quote unquote elitist guilds. And so you cannot clump every single person that's in these guilds as an elitist dickweeb because they choose to be in a guild that wants to be competitive. Yes,
Yep.
you're going to get the top gear, the top tier PvP in guilds like Iconic, Barcode, Man Up, Gravity. And players that are striving, that want that top end PvP, they will naturally want to go to the top guilds because they know they're going to get it there. It doesn't always mean that they're just a bunch of jerks and assholes, and that's why they go to these guilds. And that's pretty much what you're saying about all of them.
Right, but
Which I can't agree with.
You just reinforce your argument. You're talking about don't stereotype, but yet you know which guilds to go to in order to be to do PvP.
To
They're
get
already
the top end
stereotyping
PvP.
themselves.
No, that is not a stereotype. That is a requirement or a want, a desire that they have. And so to fulfill that
You can
desire
put it in any
of getting
Kashi, let him finish.
God damn,
dude,
Cassie.
this is just getting to the point to where I'm speaking English and you're not comprehending what I'm saying. Having
what I hear
a
all my life.
having a desire to PvP at a higher level does not equate you to being an elitist douche. It just means you want to play the game at a different level because you have the ability to do so.
Can a casual that's 220 AP level
This
60
isn't
please
a-
message me?
This isn't about casual versus hardcore. I mean, this is about play style and the way you want to play the game. If you have people that want to do high-end PvP, then they're going to go to guilds that do that because that aligns with what they're trying to do. If you have people that want to farm and fish all day, then they're going to go and join a life skilling guild because it aligns with what they want to do in the game. This is a game that a lot of people play, and it can be played in several different ways. I don't know why you're trying to nook and cram and peg everyone into one or the other. It doesn't have to be that way.
Kashi,
I'm
open
trying
your
to make
mind.
sure that I'm very open. I
Okay.
know what you're saying, and I do acknowledge it.
Let me go ahead and I have an example. Okay.
Hold on before you get to the example. Kai, I can understand your opinions and your feelings towards things, but I feel like you're coming on a little bit too strong with these guilds. It's really strong, even for you. So I don't know what's going on. Did you actually try to apply to one of these guilds, or do you
No,
just
of
feel
course
as if,
not.
or do you just feel as if these guilds hold themselves is such a on such a high pedestal?
Kashi, how well
Okay.
do you know the
I'm
people
just
from these
stating
guilds?
facts.
All
I'm
right.
not.
Okay,
Well,
I'm not.
all right.
facts have to have a
So-
go ahead.
source.
So quote unquote,
Yes.
we're gonna be an adult right now, Kashi, and I'm gonna go ahead and give you an example. So you say elitists, and you were describing Man Up earlier, so I'm just gonna go ahead from that perspective and defend that for a little bit. So one time my guild had a war with Man Up, and we don't know how it happened from either perspective, and I had the mindset of like, oh no, how am I going to get this war retracted? Everybody says that they're elitist. What am I going to do? But I didn't worry about it right off the gate. I had a couple contacts. They put me into reference with an officer in Man Up named Macilis. So I messaged him. I was like, yo, man, there seems to be something going on right now. We got a war. What can we do to work towards a retraction? And so this is how he approached me. This is the scenario you think he approached me with. Yeah, motherfucker. You ain't good. What you doing? You war deck us? You can't beat us. We the best. But that's not how it went. This is how it went. What's up, man? I just want to say that our guild's going to retract right now whenever the retraction's available. And you have a wonderful and nice day. And I was like, you know what? I like that. I like you. Non-toxic. I like this. This was great. So when you stereotype him, I'm not going to sit here and let you talk about my boy like that. You know, I own one. So you can't be
I
doing
don't
that.
understand. That's one example.
Okay,
That's
well,
but you
Kashi,
were talking
haven't
about that
provided
guild.
shit.
But you
Okay,
were
hold
talking
on.
about that guild.
Hold on, here's
Okay,
another
that
example.
doesn't mean you're not
Kai,
elitist just because that's like a
He's
celebrity
how is he an
giving out
elitist
charitable
though?
donations.
Kai,
Obviously,
How
they're
is
gonna do nice
Kai,
things
Kai,
every
hold
now
on,
and
tone
then.
it down, tone it down, Kai, hold on.
how is he an
How
elitist though
now?
if
Hold on.
he wants to work towards a retraction with me? You
Now,
know?
hold on. See, this elitist topic, it seems to be very, very spicy. It's very
The
hot,
fuck
and
is
spicy.
elitist?
But okay, so you're saying these guilds are elitist, but at the same time, when you look at the rankings and life skill rankings, a lot of these people that are on the top are these elitist guilds. Now, granted, me personally, I'm level 60. I'm doing a lot of life skills right now. That's pretty much what I'm doing to make money,
Brack, I'm gonna go
passive
pee.
money. I'm literally racking up money, and that's what I'm doing. How and on top of that, these big guilds. I mean, these big guilds will make anybody want to join. They'll make anybody want to work towards getting better gear or good enough gear so they can get to these guilds because these guilds, a lot of these guilds, they're doing payouts. People are making probably what 60 to, depending on whatever you're getting a tier 1 to tier 4 incentive. And if you have 5 mil contract, you're probably getting what anywhere from 20 to 100 something mil every 3 days or however often your guild does payouts. So why wouldn't me as a person that let's say I have 215 AP and I'm level 60 and I want to get into one of these guilds and let's say the guild that pick is one of the top guilds or one of the top 3 guilds and they do payouts. Why wouldn't I want to be in that guild? They're doing payouts. I come in there, I do my shit. I PvP, I get called for when I get called for GVG, I go out there, Node War Siege or whatever the case is, and I get my weekly payout, my incentive payout, whatever the hell it is. Why wouldn't I want to be in that guild? I'm making extra money on top of grinding and life skilling.
It's all about your priorities. Obviously, Wall Street's paying really good right now.
But
Okay,
what is
but
Wall
okay,
Street?
my
Kashi,
lord.
what is Wall
Here,
Street?
here, I'm
For
gonna hit
what
you with a
reason?
You draw an important
Go
point
where
here.
the money is.
No, Casey,
No,
you draw an important point. All about what it's all about your priorities, right? Priorities. Some of these people that are in these guilds, they want to PvP. They want to be in the top guild because they want to PvP. They want to own a territory. They want to be in the guild and have the guild title above their name, man up, gravity, barcode, let's say goddamn iconic, whatever the top guilds are, they want to have that label above their name. So when people run into them, they're like, oh shit, this guy's in iconic, or this guy's in man up, this guy's in gravity. Let's not fuck with him. Let's not deck on him. If he's grinding here, let's back away. You know?
Shout out to all the Wall Street
Yeah.
boys.
Oh my gosh.
You said it's all about your priorities, and that's an important point. Priorities. These people have their own priorities, and that's what they want. That's their priority. That's
You
the
said
priority.
you're gonna go where the money is. The money is in Wall Street. So
Where is Wall Street, Cassie? There is
How
no
many
Wall Street
Wall
in
Streets
Black
do we
Desert.
have?
well, it's one of the biggest IRL examples of elitists. So I wanted
We're
to
not
compare.
doing IRL. This is Black Desert. We're
You
not
talk
doing
about the
this.
stock market.
If you're gonna continue with your argument, you got to do it in BDO terms.
What's up, Kenta?
Otherwise, I'm not acknowledging your IRL facts
Yeah,
or
how you doing?
statements. Nobody in the stream wants
Does
to
it hurt
acknowledge
too
these
much?
statements. Nobody wants to acknowledge it. Nobody does. We got hashtags following your Wall Streetness.
I like
Your
that.
quote unquotes. Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
trending.
you may like it, but I'm
trending.
trying to bring people in, and you're trying to draw them out, Cashy. What's going
Oh no!
on?
I want them to open up their minds to
Yo, you're
every
trying to put
possible
tinfoil
venue.
on
Says
everybody's
the
heads
most
and trying to say
closed-minded individual thus
exactly.
far.
I'm just trying to say right now, everybody else is like the 95%, and you're just explaining things from a 5% perspective. I mean,
1%.
I mean,
it's
if
just
you can't join them, kill them.
Exactly. Well,
I don't think Cashy could though. Cashy can't though. Let's
Honestly,
be
if
honest.
they deny you Cashy, then okay, then fuck them.
I'm
Cashy
not
flags
no,
my friend.
I
Cashy
never-
flags up on sheeps and
I
gets
have
killed.
no. I
He gets
have no
forcefully
additional
slaughtered
bias
by
on
Oh
sheep.
these
wow.
Cashy can't even gather in peace. They will kill him. Trees will hit him back. Like, get the fuck off me,
Flag
kid.
up on sheep.
That's what's gonna happen. He goes
Yo,
to hit a
let's not
tree.
talk about sheep PvP because sheep PvP is lit. So be careful,
That is
man.
real. That is real.
Them Vision
But
Boys will flag up
Yeah.
on you at Sheep Mountain and kill you. So be careful
So
up there.
let's go ahead and just bring it back down to a calm notch without attacking anyone. Keshi, you think we can quote unquote adult with this? So I'm gonna need you to get from Wall Street. Let's go somewhere else a little bit around the corner. Let's get to a quiet alleyway. All right. And we're gonna
Okay. Let's draw away from the Siege War topic for a second here. Now, um,
We have gotten so far off topic.
I don't
Just
know
to
how
let
the hell
you
I
know.
I got in here
We
just to
have,
say
bro,
hey. And
but-
Salt.
We were talking about
we're
guild
gonna draw
flags
back-
before all this.
Oh wow!
Cashy, baby, drink some water.
Oh my gosh!
we're gonna go back to, since we're on the topic of guilds and sieges and so forth, with Camisil's new potential new potential territory. That's going to bring a lot of more PvP because people crying there's no PvP. Guilds are dodging PvP. People are trying to avoid PvP. People are dropping guilds, I guess, to PvP or so they can have some sort of action or joining smaller guilds so
Red
they can
Battlefield.
participate in smaller guild node wars to get some sort of excitement out of the game. Because let's face it, the penalty for flagging on somebody is whether or not you're not losing crystals, you're not losing EXP. It's still really hard because you can only kill three or four people before they start karma bombing you. And they're like, oh well, if I can't kill you, I'm a karma bomb you. Granted, I'm sure we've all been a victim of that at some point where
No
we're
doubt.
Oh God,
Somebody
the
just
karma
pissed them off.
bombers are unreal in BDO.
I'm
but
sorry.
the karma bomber population
I'm not
is
gonna lie,
Karma,
I
all the
kind of
karma
miss-
bomber is just crazy. I really wish if you weren't in a guild or you were, in some shape or form on cooldown, if you come up to my spot and I'm in a guild, I flag on you. Yeah, go ahead, take my karma. I don't care, but I want to take 3% of your XP. And if you don't got no XP,
Yeah.
I want to revoke you a level. Let's go ahead and bump you down a level. Let's
Okay,
go,
I
take
won't
that to
take it that
97.
far.
Oh,
I
I'm
won't take
taking
it
it that
that
far.
far.
No, because these karma griefers, they just get so ballsy. They like walk up, they're like, "What's up?" And I'm like, "Hey, you trying to party?" And they're like, "No." And I'm like,
I
"Well, come
agree
on,
with
man.
a
What are you
little
gonna do?"
XP loss,
Noah,
but I
Noah,
think
why you
de-leveling
talking
is a
about
bit
me
too
before?
much.
Huh?
I like to karma bomb people.
But what is the reason? Like, I get it. You're trying to
For the
grind or
low?
whatever, but I am too. I don't have commitment issues. I'll get in a guild, whatever. I think you
For the
should
troll?
too, so I can war deck. But what's the point of trolling at a grind spot?
I don't
That's
know.
what
It
I'm
just
saying.
makes my day happier. That I mean, you're set better.
But I mean, did it really? All I'm gonna do is change
Yeah,
channels, and you're gonna be there like, I'm the shit. I'm the shit, guys. I made that guy leave. You
Dude, that
see
follow
that
your
guy?
ass to a different channel.
What is
not
your
you.
real life like that you have that time to spend
Exactly.
doing
Like
that?
he just sits here. He's got binoculars. He's staring at you in Dawson's. Like, all right, I got one right over here, Steve.
All right, that's
Let's
my
go ahead
target
and
right
let's go ahead and
there.
grief him.
Wow.
In
No,
a
it's just-
Karma
it's just
world,
what
bombers,
to do, that's all. I mean,
Dextra is right. Karma bombers aren't Wall Street boys, so they don't deserve the Wall Street treatment.
yo,
We need to
fuck
go ahead
Wall
and give them
Street. Yo,
all
I'm
the
I'm
XP
the
loss.
person that
I want to
takes down
take your
Wall Street.
crystals. Let's do this. Karma bomb triggered. We're getting triggered about everything apparently today. There's so much salt. Nouver's out. We've been waiting so long for Nouver. I'm late to the damn stream.
I'm about to go to work in like an hour and a half,
Hucky,
and Nover's not
speaking-
out.
on the subject of Nouver, can you do us a favor? I know there was something else that we were supposed to mention along with a few other things, but we kind of went off topic here. But
Way
there is
off
apparently
topic.
a new quest loot that yields 10 mem fragments. Can you touch on that a little bit
Oh,
while we have time?
okay. So that's for just gonna slide this in here, right? For the Camisil territory, some of the quests do give 10 memory fragments as a quest reward. I have a picture
Holy shit.
right here. Yeah. So this is in KR. 10 memory fragments. I don't know if this is like a daily thing or if it's a one-time quest. Maybe there's a bunch of quests like it, but it gives 10 memory fragments. It's cool.
10 memory frags. Whoa,
That's
holy
nothing.
shit.
Shut the hell up. All right, we were on hype.
And it does give contribution EXP too. So for those of you that want contribution EXP, it's also a good thing too as well. And for everybody that's here that's watching, for those I know that for some people were questioning as to whether or not we're going to continuously have EXP events on the weekend. It was stated by Cacao that double EXP weekends will continue every weekend for the foreseeable future. So for those of you that were a little bit worried that there might not be EXP weekends anymore because all the awakenings are out, do not fear. We will have EXP weekend.
Good, I was worried.
So
You
is
know,
it
I'm a casual.
permanent?
Yeah, do you know
Yeah,
that there are
forever.
idiots on the forums complaining about that though?
Are you for real?
There are idiots on the forums complaining about there being a continuation of the XP weekend.
Yo,
Wait,
because
wait,
they
wait.
feel
so
like
are
they
people on
feel
the
like they've
forums
been
complaining?
lied
Cashy,
to.
Cashy, calm
Are you
down.
complaining
Calm
about
down,
that?
Cashy. I already know what you're gonna say.
Wait,
I already know.
Newsflash. Breaking
They're
news.
elitists. I know, Cashy.
There are
Damn
people
it.
on the forums complaining.
Right?
Oh yeah,
Right?
it's your
Whoa.
guild, Cashy. What are you doing? You gotta control them.
looks like it's
No,
about
no.
time I can get to level 2 now.
And
Oh,
also too, there's also an event. It's called Elliot's Blessing event, where we are no longer subject to heat slash hypothermia, heat stroke slash hypothermia,
Correct.
and which is a good thing. So everybody can have frolic and prance around in the desert all they want. Also, too, Corana's spawn time has been decreased. I'm guessing
Yes.
it's
It's
8
not
to 12
okay.
hours from what it used to be.
What's
I
not
guess 17
okay?
to 21 or 22. So that's also a big thing. I'm guessing they did that because Nouver is the new thing that's out now. So they decreased the timer.
Now, at this point, people are just trying to bait Kashi into
I
another
know, they're
tirade.
No,
trying
no,
to
no,
trigger
no,
the
no. There
caches.
literally should not be any additional debuff for the desert.
Come on,
People like
Kashi.
Lakari
There
should have
is
to go
no
in there.
debuff. What are you
Oh
It's-
talking
my
about?
god.
What are you
Kashi.
talking, Kashi? Are you
Let's
drunk
continue,
right
let's
now?
Oh,
continue.
he's
moving on.
saying that they
The-
should die by heat stroke so they can't dig as much, I guess.
That's what I'm trying to say.
Kashi,
Okay,
Kashi,
I
shut
did
up.
said it
Kashi,
wrong.
Oh my
Kashi.
God.
No, wait. No,
Shut
this has to
up.
be said.
No,
There
it doesn't.
should not
No,
be
it doesn't.
resistance.
This
Kashi.
has to be said.
No, it doesn't,
Yo,
Kashi.
Kashi
No, it
Donald Trump,
doesn't.
2017.
Oh my
Now,
god.
also too, also,
He's
you
talking
can
alone
now
now.
obtain Hebetite Tree Spirit Summon Scroll from Trent Forest monsters as a rare drop. The accuracy has been increased for the monsters at Akhmet Temple and Hysteria Ruins. So for those of you that grind over there, just
They'll
throw
do
that
more
out there.
damage.
For those of you that are running evasion builds and so forth, the mobs will hit you quite a little bit more frequently now. The amount of available loot has been increased from world bosses for the boss weapon, secondary weapons, and awakening weapons. So that's also a good thing. And it says you may now change the font size in the chat windows. So I guess they're throwing in little things here and there. There's more to the patch notes, and we won't go over everything in detail. But we'll have a link towards the patch notes via Twitter and in chat too as well. And you can also access that on the forums if you have not read the patch notes yet, or if you're a person that does not like to read the patch notes. You have the short rendition of it here.
Sweet.
And also too, to add on a side note, apparently I don't know how much of a factual evidence this is, but apparently to acquire the tier 9 horse, you need a tier 8 horse. And
What the?
yes, you need a
Yeah.
tier 8
No.
horse with a specific set
I'm a-
of skill.
And
You
then don't
need
they
a
all have to be
specific
Exactly.
100% too?
Yes, and they all have to be 100%, and you need 15 of a leaf exchange item too as well to do that. And if you do fail, it's basically like an alk stone. Now the thing is, if you do fail, your horse doesn't degrade to tier 7. You don't lose skills on your horse. The materials just disappear, and then you can retry it again.
I heard
So for those of you
the
that started
levels,
panicking, don't panic.
the levels
Yes, what's
for all
up?
the skills reset.
Well, I ain't getting a little 9-tier horse.
They're not. They're
Wait,
technically awakened
what?
horses.
The levels for all the horse skills reset?
Yeah, if you fail.
Well, you know,
So you have to get
Oh,
them
you
100%
come
again.
on.
That's
Mhm.
bullshit.
Oh, so they do reset.
That's what I heard
That's
from
bull.
a KR player.
Oh, okay.
come on.
Okay.
I spent 3 days.
I think we just need to go back to running with our feet. Horses
I
are
spent 3
overrated.
days leveling up my
I'm
horse.
still secretly hoping they put in a griffin mount in the game so
Please
I can
don't do
just
it.
fly everywhere. Because
I got tier 9 Calpheon cruisers on my feet. I mean, they're plus 15. They're ready to roll.
Yo,
oh my gosh.
getting a horse
Wow,
level 30 is
dude.
hard, okay?
You need to
I
get
ain't
them
trying to
air
do that
Velias.
again.
Air Philias? Yo, those are cheap. Those are cheap. You don't
I'm
mess
sorry,
with those.
I'm gonna do this just because.
Those are like those
Shout out to
Altanova Force
Katomi.
ones.
So what?
Shout
Now-
out to Katomi.
now that we mentioned that, Kai, you seem really passionate about this subject of elitist guilds.
I'm
and,
muzzled. I can't talk.
and well, we're gonna have this conversation because I really want to. So with Man Up, I guess guild drama, internal strife, whatever they're having. Do you think there's a possibility of Gravity attacking them, or do you feel as if Gravity might go for Serendia, or will they stick to their alliance? Will
Cash is
they
gonna-
rotate the territory in Medaya? What do you think they're gonna do?
They're not strong enough.
Cash is probably thinking they're gonna keep digging. That's
No,
just
they're
what
not
they're
strong
gonna
enough. They're gonna stick to what they have right now because they have a good alliance. They ain't strong enough to move
I
to
will
another
refer to
territory.
my public relations firm and just say no comment.
No comment. Okay.
He gave up.
Kai has
Okay.
no comment.
But Panda though, they're gonna stick to their thing. They're not strong enough to move to another continent on their own.
Do you think there's a possibility of them going for Valencia to reclaim their
mean,
home once again
it'll-
in the foreseeable future?
It would be stupid for them to do it
Because
they,
of
they're
the
really not strong enough. Like
So
even though they
so
absorb FML, they still can get a lot of shit
Well,
kicked.
they only absorbed like 20 members from FML.
But the
So,
strongest
yeah.
though.
Yeah, the strongest ones, yeah, but not
so
all of them.
FML came back. I saw that earlier this week too.
I
Oh,
mean,
no.
to be honest,
They
with you,
came back. What do you mean?
Gravity
Well,
just they got
the
Gravity
guild
iconic to their
FML, the
side.
title. Somebody has said they're under new management or whatever, but
Oh yeah, no, the guild never died. It was never disbanded or anything. It was always kept going by a few of its
Yeah, like Gatekeeper.
initial members. Yeah.
gatekeeper.
Shit, like Gatekeeper. Yo, I want to see Gatekeeper make a comeback. Yo, I want to see the motherfuckers on the territory again. Who's
I
with
don't
me?
know.
I don't
I
think
don't know
that's
if that's
gonna
gonna happen.
just stop talking around.
I don't think that's gonna happen. So you feel as if Gravity is not strong enough to go for Valencia in a
On
1v1
their
against
own.
Man Up?
No.
Or do you feel as if they brought their alliance with them, including Iconic and whatever guilds, they would be able to siege Valencia territory from Man Up?
Yes and no, depending how much man up shows up. It depends really on numbers at that time.
All right.
Okay, fair enough.
Okay, yeah, well, I guess. Well,
But so you think they're going to pull the critical alliance strat and honor their alliance and keep rotating in the territory while holding tier 3 nodes?
It would be stupid not to be honest with you. It's free money rotation every week. So it's like, why not?
shout out to all the Wall Street boys.
Yo, someone just messaged me that this should have been like a drinking game night. Every time Wall Street was said, we should have taken a shot or something.
I just want to also let's go ahead and bring up a subject possibly about this is the last show before the beginning of the year, I think. Or wait,
Yeah.
Sunday is New Year's Eve, correct?
Yeah,
Yes.
and we're not going to be streaming on Sunday because
We're not going to be streaming Sunday. We're not going to be streaming Sunday. So a quick thing is, what about all the dead guilds that have not survived
And they're not all
2016?
dead, okay?
Okay,
Yeah,
I just
coming up there.
want to say, like, all right, so in chat, what are some guilds that you noticed were alive while we discussed whatever we're discussing and have died? And who were the ones that you thought were going to stay alive and just completely, like, boop, gone? You didn't hear about them no more. Yeah, I mean, I can name a couple. There were some that I thought at the very beginning that were going to be great and then just
Waifu
died off.
Hunter.
Validus Gamers, Violent Tendencies. I could go on Age.
Waifu Hunter.
I just did it.
Hatakura, Waifu Hunter, they got like a couple people still
What
there,
about
but I don't think
Necromancy?
Necromancy. Yeah, they weren't from the beginning. They weren't from the beginning. They didn't have a
were
long life.
strong though from the beginning and Eden though. They were really strong, but then I think something happened and just this I don't know. Stuff got real. Shit hit the fan.
Really quickly before we continue, I want to just list off the people who have followed. All right, I wanted to do this. So we got Mercury River, Samuel Free, NETV. Don't forget the something. Fibbo, Azul 3, Gods, Galumra, Sovereign, Pepino Revolution, Tag 977, Zed Gekcoin, BDO Assassin, Bapulegit, it's a name, not Gambits, and that's everyone so far. So thank you all for the follow. Let's continue.
Goblin Cock died?
Yeah, man, they're gone.
Am I allowed to say this shit? Oh yeah, we remember Church Street. Okay, I just can't say that.
Okay.
Isn't Savannah dead too? I heard recently Savannah's dead. But they were the break off of a Waifu Hunter. B-Nat, I guess, made his own small guild. He's a clique of ladies and so forth and gentlemen.
I don't know. It says they're still alive. 34 medium-sized guild. Who knows?
Wasn't there an all girls guild?
Was it Hello Kitty Nation? I don't remember.
I saw one called Woman Up at some point.
Yeah, I saw that.
I'm kidding.
Oh god. Yeah, let's see. Rip to who else? Come on, chat, help me. Bring up some
Gooch Goblins.
honest.
Oh yes,
honest guild names that are
alive.
ripped.
I seen a lot of Savannah assassins when I killed them.
Let's
The
see.
Gooch Goblins.
Someone has said
Prey.
player killers.
Pray.
I mean, I
Prey.
still see player killers around.
Prey, yeah, Prey did die.
What?
Goblins.
Player Killers is dead. I can confirm that.
Hostile. There's another one.
I saw
Rest in peace,
Slash
Hostile.
the
Remo.
other day in
Rest
Arena
in peace,
though.
Remo.
I was in Player Killers. They're dead.
Oh
Okay,
no.
see, confirmed right here.
Hostile-
Snotfish
What
has
about
followed.
what
Thank you,
what about
Snotfish.
Apple's Guild? What was Apple's Guild again?
Yotsubai Corp. Dead.
What's
All right,
what was
what's next?
Apple's Guild? 'Cause somebody I don't remember his name.
Are we gonna like
Apples?
do a shot every time we hear the dead guild, like in like the Mockingbird, or
No, no. I just want to go ahead and pay homage to these. The Forsaken. That's a guild that died.
I mean,
that was
I
an
do.
Indian guild.
I'd do a shot of apple juice if that's what you're asking.
there was
Hey.
actually Harame guild, not
Laughing-
funny. There was a
Laughing
Harame
Coffin?
guild follower.
That's an SAO reference.
That died.
Are they a real thing in BDO? I don't even know.
Come on,
And,
Chad, help me out
yeah,
here.
It was a real thing in BDO.
What was the
Laughing
China,
Cock?
they called the
Harambe.
guild China Nation? They called the guild China. They referred to the guild as China Nation. Who was that guild? It was ran by Apple. No, well,
Mango
rest in peace,
Bay
rest in
died?
peace, Mango Bay, but it wasn't Mango Bay.
Laughing Coffin. Wasn't that in Uno? Laughing Coffin was.
Orwin.
Oh,
Someone
Orwin.
said was an Orwin guild.
Orwin? Yeah, I used to play a Laughing Coffin guild in what you call it, arcade.
Whatever.
Somebody said
Whatever.
Baking bread.
Giga.
Giga.
I've never heard of
Giga.
that.
Yeah,
Thank
Giga.
you.
Oh,
Thank
I
you,
remember
Giga.
Giga.
Didn't Giga merge into Mooncake?
I
think I heard
don't know.
that.
Wait, so they're not all Chinese?
What is
I
Go
didn't-
Go
Oh
Go
no,
thing?
I think they were
Giga,
Korean.
Giga was a guild that originated from another server. They were called Solinar, and they always had it was I think the majority of the guild were Chinese players, and then the other half was English, and they were separated most of the time until it came PvP time. Then they had people communicating,
put
so forth, back and
translators on.
forth, translate,
They're like,
and
take
so
out
forth.
all that.
Get to Google. Just translate.
Yeah, but I guess the guild leader had some stuff to do IRL, so he's gone from whatever duration. I don't know if he's ever coming back, and then everybody kind of went their own way.
Let's see, what's another dead guild? More
Laughing
dead
Coffin.
guilds. More dead guilds. Bring me a flood of deadness, because they've
Is
been
there-
everywhere.
Is there more?
Oh,
There's
there's a
T1
lot more.
Gaming, TJJ, TDS.
Oh yeah.
I guess they
Let's
merged
see.
into
Boys.
Mooncake.
Whatever happened to goat? the goat guild?
Malum Factum. There's another one.
I remember
What the
that.
hell is that?
Malum Factum was
You
a
sure
guild.
that's
They
not
died.
made up?
No, I mean it kind of sounds made up, but
Sky
it
Strike.
was
I
a guild.
mean,
Sky
I
Strike,
haven't
rip.
seen
Yeah.
Israel. I saw
Baka.
some Sky Strike the other day. I haven't seen. There was this guild that used to be around Israel. I have not seen them in a long time.
Did Baka die?
Oh
For
yeah,
real?
Israel is they're the alliance guild for Iran.
What?
It's pretty
I'm just,
clever.
I'm joking. I'm joking.
Oh my god!
Yo,
I
there
It was
was
like,
bad.
what?
It was
a
bad.
guild called
All right.
Backstreet
It
Thought
was
you were
bad.
serious.
that died.
Jeez, it was a bad
Gee,
joke, guys.
They get a whole lot of
Dango
flack for that.
Diazuku.
Yo,
There's another dead
Sandwich
guild.
died.
Sandwich. There was another guild. What are they called? Therapists? The therapists?
Oh
They used to
yeah,
call
that was
them
a
the
long
rapists.
time. Yeah, the
yeah,
rapists.
The rapists. Okay, they're dead.
They're
Oh.
gone. Yeah, I mean, yeah.
What was another one? Disconnected. Disconnected was another one. Dead. Breakthrough. ISIS. There was the America Guild.
Yup.
America
I,
Guild.
and
Dead.
I want to give a shout out to this guild before they change the name. The PRX XRP and the PRX whatever their whole entire big mob was called. I want to give a shout out to them. You guys held through strong throughout 2016. You guys ended up changing names, scaling down.
Novus.
Yeah.
Blacklisted.
Novus is gone too.
Blacklisted.
Blacklisted.
Valen. Does anybody remember Valen? And then
I do.
Lunar
Oh,
Lunar
Valen?
Sentinels. Lunar Sentinels guy. They
Isn't
got
Blacklisted
slapped up.
still around?
Huh? No, Blacklisted is dead guild, I think.
Seen a
And I
few
just
of them running
and
around,
also
but yeah.
let's give a shout out to the guild that died first, Gatekeepers. We can never forget them.
Mm.
I mean, they're a PvE guild now though, but they're still back.
Back again.
Yeah, but you know, if they get more strong members, they're gonna be the next album I'm playing.
That's not gonna happen. That's not gonna happen. Avalonia. Does anybody remember that guild?
Nah, not really.
Thundercats.
Avalon. Marvel. Marvel was a big guild at the time. They were some trollers.
What about
I think I remember them.
Thundercats?
Demons. There was a guild named Demons. They
I
they
remember
died.
them.
Mirage.
They start here.
Dead. Let's see
Start
who
here
else.
were they were like a small PvP group. It start here. was really like it was small.
Dauntless? I don't think I remember.
I remember
Dauntless.
Dauntless.
Yeah.
Yes,
I don't know if I remember them.
Dauntless. I remember Dauntless.
Does anybody remember Daybreakers?
I do remember Daybreakers.
And then there was another one. Let's see, Honor. Yeah, Honor died.
Oh yeah, Honor used to be like top 4. Yeah.
Let's see
Who
who
the fuck is
else.
Honor?
Age. Did I say Age already? I think I already said
Age.
Age. Dune Riders.
Actually, Doom Riders merged into the Black Wolves of something with wolves. I don't know. They merged into that guild.
Wolves of War.
Yeah, there you go. Wolves of War.
Where the hell did the black come from?
I'm telling you.
And for
Risen. Dead.
Risen.
Yeah.
And for all the guilds that have made it through 2016,
Grace.
we congratulate you all.
Spaghetti.
Especially Spaghetti. They've gone through some hard times, I guess you can say that. And we hope to see you guys in 2017 in the new year as it approaches.
Red face, dead face. Okay.
Red face also.
Yep.
Red face.
Okay. No, let's keep it going though. Well, there's definitely more guilds that
Oh,
have been
I don't want to go through all the entire guilds because we
Let's not
would be
dwell
going
on that.
through all the guilds. And
Let's
for the guilds that are alive and the guilds that are out there PvPing, we congratulate y'all
Torch,
and we hope to
dead.
see you guys one of these days on the podcast
I talked to them.
as talk about the small guild. And I hope you guys have a successful Node Wars tonight too, as well. For those of you that are doing Node Wars.
All right. So are we about to close up? So I can
Yes,
do a
we're
little-
about to close up because it's about to be 9:30. And
Okay.
we've been on there for about 2.5 hours almost, and I
need
know
to
a lot of
eat.
these people have to eat and go to siege and so forth.
All right,
They're not
so
casual, like
doing a
Cassie
shout out,
said. They're hardcore.
2016 on BDO has been real with everybody. To all the guilds who have died, rip. To all the guilds that are still alive, I'm glad to see you around. I hope 2017 goes well for all of us. It's gonna get crazy. There's gonna be a lot of PvP, so be ready for it.
Shout out
Everybody
to
have a
them.
good New Year's. Be safe. Stay tuned. We will not be airing Sunday, so next
Well,
Wednesday.
hold on. We're not doing a New Year's stream. No,
You want to do
Yeah,
New Year's?
no,
We can
I
totally
thought
do one
Aki
together.
said no.
Well, Sunday
Aki.
is New Year's, so I don't know whatever. Do you guys want to?
I
Yeah, Aki,
I
I'm
don't think
down
I'll
for
be
it.
able to make it.
I can stream. I mean, it's not gonna be good quality as Aki though.
I'm
Aki,
pretty
you're not
we
gonna be
have
here,
some good
right?
I might. I'm not
Well,
completely sure.
let us know.
All right, yeah.
No, we can always one of us can do it, and I'm sure these guys would love to see a New Year's stream. Maybe we'll get some good, good feedback after the siege. Well, whatever before the siege, just hype it up, whatever the case is. Talk about anything and everything.
It's not
All right,
fresh
so
enough
stay
for
tuned.
Diddy.
We'll keep
Thanks
you
for-
updated on the Twitter. We'll keep you updated.
Shout out to
on
my
World Chat.
grandfather, man.
Oh
Yo,
my God.
Yo, can we get a Snapchat for Baffling back for like we make a
Oh,
Snapchat?
my.
May he rest
You're
in
just
peace.
you were just nasty.
You know what?
I know what
we'll
you're trying to
work
do.
on Snapchat at a later time.
Yeah,
All right,
I don't
guys.
know.
I'm
I
gonna
don't
close
think
We're
up
gonna
here.
get
Squad,
out of
Shut
here.
your
We're
mouth.
gonna go ahead
Thank
and
you
get
guys
out of
for
here.
tuning in.
Appreciate it. It's
And
your
catch
boy
you guys
now. You
next time.
die.
And don't forget to follow and check us out on Twitter. Keep updated when we go live. and
Hashtag
all
Wall
that
Street
good stuff.
boys.
Hashtag
And
Wall
if
Street
you missed our
Boys.
stream-
Hashtag quote unquote adults.
I'm
Give
banning
Be sure to
you.
catch
Cassie
us
your
on
if you got
and YouTube.
if you got artist skills, I want you to draw me Cashy with either Salt
Hey,
Crying or On Wall
Oh
Street.
my
I want to
God.
see your illustrations.
Twitter.
Show
Hook
me,
me
yeah,
up.
post on Twitter, tag us at
My Discord
BDO
name is the same as
_podcast.
my in-game name. Just
Wait,
to let you
wait,
guys
real
know.
quick,
I'm
real
a
quick,
deal.
real quick, real quick. Hook me up with the premium account so you catch my drift.
Oh my God, shut up.
All right,
But
I
show
gotta-
us them illustrations. Wall Street Boys are out. Zip.
Bro,
Gone.
Snapchat